are waiting for you to come back. Amazing feelings are waiting for you to explore again once the world is ready. Until we meet again. Amazing Thailand.
Hello there, Dota 2 fans. Back again, day number 3 of this awesome group stage from the Epic League. Trent, Zyori, and Lacoste for our opening series again today. 3 more best of 3s. Gentlemen, how are we? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Zyori. I mean, I got my 8 hours of beauty sleep, got some rest, got a breakfast, ready to grind throughout the whole.
These feelings are waiting for you to come back. Amazing feelings are waiting for you to explore again once the world is ready. Until we meet again. Amazing Thailand.
Some of the highlights, that amazing Nico Baby PA Divine Rapier game. That was a real treat to watch. There were some others in there. That was the real big highlight that stood out to me. But
everything else kind of stunk at that point.
Those other 8 games were really awesome, though. But today we got NAVI versus Just Error, aka 404, as most folks have been calling them. Secret versus Viking GG after that, and then Nigma versus Mud Golems, and this is Nigma with Kuro back with the squad.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yes.
Glad he's back. I liked RMN. I think a lot of the people realize how good RMN as a player is. We had Super Rudy standing in as well. Everyone is a big fan, so a bit disappointed, Kuroki replacing Super Rudy. But still, there's a hype about Kuroki. But Super Rudy,
It was a good one. It was a good run,
Yeah. It didn't last long, but
I was very impressed with RMN, though, just to echo what you just said.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the games that we cast, you definitely had those moments where you're like, okay, this isn't exactly the same Nigma. They're not 1-to-1. But given this guy has been a coach for how many years now? I mean, RMN hasn't been playing competitive in a pretty long time. Yeah. He was still up to snuff. I mean, they didn't look that bad. They put up a lot of really competitive games. And not only is Kuro healthy, but he's well rested, right? In his video, he talked about just the grind, taking a wear on his body and feeling fresh, and can't wait to see what he produces, man. But
the video that I blasted during the
very
live show, I forgot to mute my mic.
Just very excited about Kuro. Hey guys, Kuroki here. Oh shit. That was pretty funny. That was 10 out of 10. So let's hone in on this first series, though. NAVI versus 404. We've only seen one series out of 404 so far. They were 2-1 against Mud Golems. A pretty fun series, but Mud Golems definitely looked like the better team. Expectations coming into this series versus NAVI?
I'd say NAVI, the roster they have right now, is the best roster they had since like TI2, TI3 era, where like all the players, it feels like everything's working nice for them. I have high hopes for the team that they have right now. I mean, they finished second in ESL1 Germany, which kind of shows how good of a team NAVI is right now. But Just Error, I still need to see more games, see how they're matched up against the different kind of play styles. We've seen them play against Mud Golems, and they lost. I mean, no surprise there. Mud Golems, they seem to be like one of the best teams in Europe right now.
Yeah, I think Alliance and NAVI went through a very similar stage, and Alliance made it through, and NAVI are still getting there. And that, like, you had these legendary rosters, and then eventually players are retiring and moving on and going to other places, and so you have to rebuild teams with this huge brand. And for Alliance, that took a long time too. They went through several different stacks of all kinds of different players, so they're kind of like pulling apart like tier 2 Europe teams and trying to stick things together to see if it would work. And then eventually they got what's now Team Liquid. But then, of course, they are now part of Team Liquid. They left Alliance, and they almost had to start over again. But now they've made it through with their new roster. NAVI, they've gone through like the Seneko stacks. They've tried building around a couple different players at this point. I mean, now, like, is this going to be another one of these like honeymoon moments for them where you think like, okay, here it is. This is the new Navi roster. I think a second place at ESL 1 was very impressive. So I agree with the cost that I have like pretty high hopes for this roster. I think it's just it's so difficult when you have such a huge fan base to be coming in and trying to like forge a team like this together. It puts a lot of pressure on the players.
Well, and it's also different too because in the case of Alliance, right, Loda stuck around. He's still managing the team. He coach, whatever his role is. He like runs the business. Him and Kelly are still very tightly involved with the brand. Dendy was like the face of Navi for so long. And how long has it been since Dendy left Navi? Is it 2 years now? 1 year? I'm so bad with dates.
Since he like played actively for them, it might have been like 3 or 4. Almost,
it's been that long now. Wow. Man,
I don't know.
Time
It
flies,
feels like that long.
Yeah, it's been forever. I mean, it's been almost a whole year, I guess, since Dendy announced Bait. We're coming up on like 10 months, 11 months, something like that. So
September 1st, 2018, Denny will no longer be a part of the active Navi squad.
Okay, so 2 years. There you go. Hit it on the head. But yeah, I agree with you, Trent. I think it's a difficult nut to crack when you have to rebrand that way. But this squad has really looked pretty consistent. V2 and Iceberg in general, all three of their cores. They play together very well. There's some real synergy across these three. We noted yesterday, right? General plays that Void Spirit a little bit different. He has a very space making style on the three, and his teammates are good at filling that space, right?
He tends to play different kind of heroes on position 3. Like he played the Legion Commander, Bat Rider, but when Bat was really not that popular, and he goes for kind of a different builds on the offlane. Like if you take his Beastmaster game where he gets like double bracer, magic wand, the strength power threads, he's sitting at 2000 HP, and he's just a tank. You know, he just wants to dominate the lanes. He kind of reminds me of 33, the way he plays during the laning stage. Like he always played it that way. I'm gonna get a magic wand, an extra wind blaze, a casual bracer, possibly a bottle, and earn like all these small items that allows him to snowball through the laning stage and just, you know, at that 15-minute mark be one of the most farm guys in the game.
And what's so good about that right now is that it's a carry patch too, and these carries are trying to build these like greedier items, right? So they're not filling up their inventory slots. So when you stack everything like that as this Beastmaster, you can really try and like up your HP and your damage to try and punish someone.
Oh, would you look at that? Chen for Navi. I would really not be surprised if they just straight up take a Storm Spirit. In their previous series, they had 5 stacks around 6-minute mark when Chen was just stacking one camp with the creep and stacking the other camp with the hero, which allowed Storm Spirit to get like 11-minute Orchid and just, you know, dominate the game from there.
Yeah. And that series against Liquid did go 3 games. Navi played Rubik in all 3 of those games, and they got that Chen Storm Spirit combo in games 2 and 3, and those are the 2 games they won in that series. So I like that Undying ban as well. Let the Wisp through. We've seen this combo. Soul Rip with the Tether. The Insanity Heal is what I've been calling it. When you put a mech on top of that, you can make somebody like Sven unkillable. So I like that ban a lot from Navi alongside the Spectre.
Yeah, it looks very likely that Storm's going to get banned, right? With the IO being there, like, you don't have to deal with that Storm Spirit. That is a tough call, though. Do you give them 3 straight picks? I mean, you have the bans, too, though. And, I don't know. I'm okay with the Storm here. Because I know Liquid would do it, for example.
Right. And well, part of this strategy is you get all these stacks going. If Storm's having a fine lane, he's really far ahead. If Storm's not having a good lane, then he's just immediately recovered and he's totally fine. So I feel like the strategy kind of works both ways, even if they do put a lot of stock into trying to counter this Storm.
Yeah, they might also go with a Beastmaster, but I still prefer if they just get like a Storm Spirit. It's a sick combo with the Chen. You use all your mana, TP back, you get recalled by Chen. So, okay, they go with the Lifestealer, someone that can actually man fight the Sven. A very good laner in Dota, just in general. What surprises me is that, you know, Lifestealer is first phased and you don't see that many counters because Lifestealer doesn't have it. You know, Slardar possibly won. Like, just, I think Navi needs to get rid of Slardar because Slardar Sven seems way too good.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree there. Timbersaw and Enigma, the next 2 removed.
Lifestealer into Sven is like I mean, as you said, like you can 1v1, but it's still like kind of ugly. I guess
Yeah,
everyone's kind of ugly versus Sven, though. To be fair.
True. I mean, you can't really man fight him, when Sven
Yeah.
has 2 items and you have 2 items. But when you have like 4 items, then you can match up nicely. But, Sven comes online much faster than the Lifestealer because of the cleave. One of the reasons why Sven is so popular. It's all about stacking. Sven has a built-in cleave and clears the stacks extremely fast. So he comes online like half an item, sometimes even an item faster than the other carry.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I think that's what's hard about this head-to-head carry matchup where life stealers have 2 different routes. It's like, well, we could try to go greed and buy like a Midas or something, which we don't see that often anymore because you still can't keep pace with the Sven. So then you go the opposite route. Maybe you get like armlet Deso or armlet something else, and then you can actually fight early while Sven's still powering up. But then if you lose those early fights, it's a real feels bad man while Sven just farms his jungle. So I don't know. I think I'd rather be the Sven Wisp than the Lifestealer Chen if I had to pick. It seems a little easier to be Sven.
I think Beastmaster will be highly contested in this particular matchup. There goes the Storm Spirit that we mentioned. It's too good of a
And the
combo with the
Slardar.
Chen. It's also a vehicle for a life stealer, not something that you need to have, but it's easy to execute Dota. And even the top tier teams, they're just trying to keep the thing simple. But yeah, Beastmaster for both of these teams, providing vision and just BKB piercing ability against the life stealer, great against the Sven. Like, you don't want to leave Sven with no abilities once he gets that BKB. Sometimes he doesn't even get a BKB until 4th, 5th item, depending on the situation, especially if he has a lot of heals. But you need to be prepared for that. One of the reasons why there's no Batrider, there's no Doom, a lot of BKB piercing abilities are being banned out. Slardar, Enigma, and we see more and more Tide being picked. Like, this hero, is on the rise. Not sure how you guys feel about the
That
Meteor Hammer Rush.
first.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all right.
We're seeing it most games, not every game. We saw at least one game yesterday where a Guardian Greaves first Tide, I think, got played. But the Meteor Hammer seems okay. It's just so cheap that I have trouble really saying that it made a negative impact. But now the Earthshaker and into the Beastmaster. So 2 pretty predictable picks for Na'Vi.
Yeah, they've picked the Rubik just over and over again. Like once they banned that Storm, I'm sure they knew it was coming. But then they picked the Shaker Morph.
Here's
so
the
we're gonna have
combo.
that mid Morph once more.
Now
So
the combo,
they played this
right?
before, right?
Morphling into Lifestealer. Yeah, that's always going to feel good.
That was the game they won. Was the Morphling into the Lifestealer where they had the Morph. Remember at the end he got like the Undying Tombstone. They double Tombstone to high ground for the game ender.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
This is something that OG ran. Sven plus Morphling. It sounds greedy, but if your Morphling gets 2 raid bans, Power Treads, a bottle, we saw Dragonlance being built up twice by OG yesterday, and then he gets E-Blade. This is a lineup, that Morphling in this scenario, he can also be a space creator where he, just buys time. For Sven, one thing I dislike is Earthshaker, but, eventually you might come to that Earthshaker Morphling combination. I just really feel bad for Earthshaker as a laner right now because, position 4 heroes are doing so much more than position 4 Earthshaker.
And into
you have
Rubik
to
as
play
well.
really
That's
well.
Also not a feels good.
Yeah. I guess they just wanted to have, that instant initiation when Earthshaker gets a Blink Dagger, try to surprise him before he can get the Rage off.
Yeah.
So that's good, but the problem is I've seen Earthshakers in the last couple of days just completely struggling, getting Blink Dagger 17 to 20 minute mark, which is pretty bad. This is a missed timing in my book.
Final bans now. Viper and Silencer taken up by 404 and Mars Underlord.
I thought the big brain play was you leave the Underlord, then you pick OD. We finally get him.
Well, I
that
thought
poor hero, man.
I thought we might see an OD yesterday against a Morphling. But I mean, this does look like an okay setup if that hero were playable.
We've had two OD games I can remember in the last 4 or 5 months. ESL won Thailand from Makoto,
and he won one
then
of those games, right?
The same day Miracle played it. I think they both
Did they
won.
both win?
Makoto might have lost, but I remember he had a really good game, so I'm not going to put it on him either way.
I can't completely rule it out. Dendy yelled at me when I shit all over OD. Well, he didn't yell. Dendy doesn't yell. He scolded me for poo-pooing on OD. He said, now, every game has its moment.
It's beautiful.
Or every hero, rather. Every hero has its moment. But what is it here for 404?
They still have mid snap for potentially for Na'Vi. That could be kind of cool, depending on the matchup.
Yeah,
I mean,
Beastmaster
it's Morphling.
Snapfire mid that Russian Zaghatum Scepter is always going to be good, like providing vision, but I think they need a bit more burst damage for this Morphling. Right now, their damage is pretty much static, like Lifestealer hitting you, Chen doesn't provide any kind of burst, Rubik, not the best spells to steal, Fisher is fine, you know, but you're still very limited, which means that Morphling will most of the time get the morph off. So I want to see some, you know, straight up
no
CC.
one playing?
They're looking for this hero.
That's his hero.
Well, yeah, I know. It's like there's 30 seconds left. Like, what are the options? I'm not seeing
33
too many
seconds.
It's like Centaur, right? That's still around.
I don't think you pick that into Lifestealer. I think you need to have a better laner, something that's paired up with the Earthshaker.
Like what? That's
I mean, they could go for something like a Wind Ranger, possibly.
I was just gonna say Wind was the first thing that came to mind to me too.
Okay, well they banned the Viper, so now this Bristle actually feels sort of safe. Kind of.
It's an awkward Bristle game though, because
okay. Like talking about CC, I don't know how Zeus managed to, you know, get through the banning stage. It's a great Zeus game. Like,
I think
I'm just
Bristle
looking
might
at it.
struggle a little. Lifestealer does a lot of damage to Bristle. I don't know. I like this Na'Vi draft a lot.
Yeah, that's why I wanted them to pick, you know, something good. I'd say range hero, like a Wind Ranger that puts the pressure on the Lifestealer, and you don't care too much about the Chen rotations. You're not gonna die, but yeah, just liking Navi's lineup way more. Like Vision game is very strong. Zeus, you have Beastmaster with the Book, with the Hawk. Chen units will be around, so it's gonna be very hard for Just Error to, you know, approach team fights in the mid game because it's hard to maintain vision against all of these heroes that Navi has.
There's pressure for Navi to get some stuff done though, right? Iosfan, Morphling. I think the best thing for Just Air at the start of this game would be Zayat's blocking off the wave for no one to like pull it close to the tower, and then trying to get some rotations mid on the early end to try and like actually gank the Zeus, right? See if you can like create a good waveform scenario for Sumail to actually go in and try and blow up Iceberg.
I mean, if you don't slow him down, we know that Zeus can farm like an absolute madman with stacks in the jungle. So certainly something they will need to be aware of. Quick predictions. Both thinking Na'Vi here?
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to go with Just Error. I'm taking it. I'm going with the Morph mid. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Belief in the Morphling. Well, let's see what our casters think. We've got Nomad and 1437 for this series. Gentlemen, take it away.
You know, everyone always says his Nomad and 1437, but no one ever asks how is Nomad and 1437. But we're very excited for this game. I mean, this series is looking hella exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this 404 team play. First time casting them, and yeah, Theben, I think yours as well. What are you expecting from these guys?
I think both these teams have very interesting lineups, and they have their own peaks at some point. But I gotta go with 404. Their late game seems quite strong with this Morphling having multiple targets that he can Ags morph into. The Sven, we've seen that yesterday. You got the Earthshaker, you can get the totem jumps, and then late game pipe Bristleback is just going to mitigate so much of the Zeus's damage.
Yeah, that's true enough. That's true enough. I mean, this Zeus pick, Lacoste loved it. I think I like it as well. I really do. I mean, especially Iceberg Zeus. I mean, it's hard to ever doubt Iceberg Zeus. What are your thoughts on this final pick for Na'Vi? Was it enough to kind of make the game a little bit more even from that point on? Because I think we both agreed that 404 were in a really good position before the Zeus pick came out. Was it enough to tip the scales in Na'Vi's favor in your eyes?
Yeah, they needed some kind of magic damage in their lineup, so they thought maybe if the Morphling also makes some mistakes middle, he can get a nice kill, or somehow if he's got this 7th sense that the Morphling is morphing down, he can pop his ultimate, get a quick kill like that too. But other than that, I think IO plus Earthshaker is a pretty difficult thing for Zeus to deal with sometimes if he goes for the split push and the Earthshaker sets up on him and get that Echo Slam into a relocate, and he might just be food whenever he's trying to split push in this game.
Yeah, that's always the big threat as well. You know, you never really know where this Zeus might just come in and blow you up, or the other way around. He is also a squishy little guy himself. and if he does get caught out by these reloads, then he could have some trouble. So IO is actually going to be laning down at bottom with Ramses on the Sven. These two are going to be linking up together and trying to put some pressure onto the Beastmaster and the Rubik. But it does look like Navi have predicted the lane switch-ups here. I'm not too sure how this one was supposed to go down or how it actually ended up going down, but what I'm seeing is an off-laner in the safe lane for Navi and a safe laner in the off-lane for 404, which suggests shenanigans have happened.
Right, and I think this Lifestealer, he's going to be free farming regardless of the lane that he would have been matched up into, so that's not a big problem for him. I think the Beastmaster was actually trying to dodge the Bristol back lane too, so it's not bad for him here against the IO and the Sven. Rubik is always going to be very annoying with that pesky Fade Bolt. They're going to be able to deny probably a couple creeps down in this lane. I really expect Solo to actually go and make some stacks in the triangle area, though. That's where majority of Sven's farm is going to come this game.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching all the different styles of IOs being played, because, I mean, we've seen a ton of IO games in this tournament, and some of them, you know, they just play that babysitter, they sit with their carry the entire game, and sit with them in the jungle, and sit with them through the rest. Then we see some of the other IOs which go and just kind of chase heroes around the map. Interestingly, I mean, we saw a greedy IO yesterday maxing out the spirits and just trying to farm himself. And of course, the stacking IOs as well. You know, there's many different types of IOs in the world. We'll see which one Solo decides to play this game.
Yeah, in this game, he's got so many options, right? He can go link up with the Morphling, link up with the Bristleback, all different kinds of IO combos available for Solo. So it doesn't just have to play with the Sven, which is going to give him so many different possibilities in the game. Yeah. And that's going to be really scary for Navi, because his IO can pretty much TP onto any of these three lanes and just link up and have the super powerful core.
Yeah, kind of insane how much damage they could do there as well, just with a stun and the overcharge, forcing General back away from the creeps, forcing him to miss out at least one or two of the melee creeps here, maybe even more. But always one of Fly's just going to try and stack and pull as much as he possibly can and try and get that creep wave back under control. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Vichian's actually been cut off by this fissure here. Zayats comes in, doesn't have the aftershock though, so can't cancel out that TP. Lifestealer does get back. Oh, he goes all the way back to base and then gets... Oh, okay, they've got a Chen. Mubby. All good.
It's a very interesting pick, this Bristleback and the lane setup from Error here. With this Bristleback in the safe lane, the Shaker has been given all the freedom to roam to the mid lane. He's actually casted a couple fissures on the mid lane already, and top lane, this Bristleback is essentially free farming against two heroes. So I'm not sure at which point they're going to be able to dominate this Bristleback, because I think he's already past that. Like, the Bristleback has level 2 in his passive already.
Yeah, it's getting these points in the tankiness, wants to 1v2 and is doing so pretty successfully, although this... Oh, Ramsey's getting very low here, being chased down by this ball, by Always Want to Fly, and by General, but it doesn't look like they've got the damage or the slows to keep him under control and finish the job. So Ramses will survive and not end up being that first blood, which still hasn't happened yet. I mean, no kills across the border, though. Iceberg now meets Zayats, but Roger's coming around from the other side as well. Maybe Roger's got the damage to finish off Zayats here. What can they do with the Harpy Stormcrafter? Enough is the answer. They get the kill with a lightning bolt, and Iceberg will be the one getting first blood, much to Samel's dismay, I would imagine.
Oh man, you do not want to give Zeus first blood. He's going to have such a fast boot to travels this game if he goes for that. Actually, it looks like he's linking up the Aghanims right away. He wants to get that kill potential for the Beastmaster. The Nimbus right away.
Iceberg. Brown boots straight into the Nimbus.
It's really farmed already.
There's a few things he absolutely loves. Yeah, Nimbus is definitely one of them. There's some games you'll just see him go for that like straight off the bat. Sometimes you'll see him go for them. He is a big lover of boots travel as well though, so yeah, he just tends to decide on the game. I'm wondering what about this game it is that's made him go for this Nimbus. Maybe he just wants the extreme burst early on, or like as an answer to the reloads perhaps.
Yeah, well, the Beastmaster at that point can pretty much solo kill anyone, right? Except for the Bristleback with one roar plus the Nimbus.
Yeah, so
true. It's gonna be very helpful. Bounty runes. Looks like 2 for 2 for both sides. Very tame game at the moment. Has Solo made any stacks yet? Nope. Not quite yet. He's been having to help Ramses quite a lot in this bottom lane. Not such an easy lane for him at all.
Yeah, no, it's not really been the case where they've had this free bottom lane for the Sven. He's had to really been babysat by this IO to keep him alive and to keep him kind of constantly trading here as they go forwards onto General. Once again, just some light poking. Just keeping control of the lane, popping their spells and trying to force back General where possible. How's he doing on the CS on the Sven? Not amazingly, actually. 26 and 8, and actually with the lift back and the throwback, he could be in some trouble. Stun comes down onto General to slow it down, but there's a Zeus ult to finish the job, and Iceberg will get the second kill of the game on to Ramses. Very, very nice timing there on the Iceberg level 6, and he's going to be very happy about the extra bonus XP he gets from that one.
Ooh, this might be one of the fastest Aghanims at this rate. He's already got 1,000 gold on top of his triple nulls and boots. Oh, Sumail picks up something really good. He's got a double damage bottled up. That could be a big factor here.
So
try and kill
Zeus is actually being brought onto no one here. They're reloading him in with the Divine Favor. He's right on top of no one. Does he have the damage to bring him down? I mean, V-Tune didn't want to get too close to this Hedgehog because he was doing too much damage, but he might be able to finish the job here. Iceberg, he needs a little bit more, unfortunately, and no one is pretty damn quick. They won't be able to find this kill. Oof. Goodness gracious, that did get pretty close, though.
And the mid tower is taking a beating right now from Sumail. He actually pops that double damage.
Oh, wow.
Knowing that the Zeus got ported top.
What a rune to find. And I like that Zayats has TP'd in here as well, you know, just thinking, maybe someone shows up and, you know, one stun and Sumail's going to find that kill onto the Zeus there. But he's being careful. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, though, we will lose our Sven under the tower as General and Always Want to Fly just get confident and go and bring him down. They couldn't keep him alive, solo.
Yeah, this bottom lane has been wonderful for Navi this game. IO Sven really underestimating the power of this Beastmaster and position 5 Rubik here.
Yeah, and with the tier 1 tower dead in the middle lane as well, I mean, it's pretty bad news.
That is such an early tier 1 tower dead. I mean, it's up thanks to the double damage, right? I think if the Zeus was walking back to middle, protected the tower, it would have been fine. But because they try to make that play onto the Bristleback, and the Bristleback doesn't die too, such a big loss for them.
Ooh, Sumail, is he setting up onto Iceberg here? I feel like he might be. I mean, a very high value kill if they can find it, but I mean, this Iceberg Zeus isn't the squishiest hero in the world. 1.2k HP on this guy. He is not a squishy boy, but stun comes in. Sumail with the right clicks as well. Roger's nearby though, looking to help out, although they might change targets here. Solo going to come in, link up with Sumail and try and chase Iceberg up the high ground here, but Iceberg is just running himself away, and it doesn't look like they've got the chase or the catch to bring these heroes down, so they'll turn their attention to Roger instead. I mean, Zayat doesn't have enough mana for a Fisher here. Sumail just trying to do it with the right clicks, and with an adaptive strike it will be enough, but General coming in from the side. They're looking for some revenge. Iceberg getting a good amount of damage buff onto these supports. Can they finish off Solo is a question. They get them so low, and that's a double kill for Iceberg. Perfectly positioned in this fight to come around the back and murder those supports, cut off the supply lines to Sumail, and get some really nice revenge here. That is a deep dive, and that is punished heavily by Navi.
My god, he is 2 components away from the Aghanims already on the Zeus.
Yep.
That is insane. If he was going for Boots of Travels, he would have already had it right now. So that's how farmed the Zeus is at the moment. And he does plenty of damage with those triple nulls as well. Great mana pull. It's looking quite scary, this Zeus.
He is indeed. He is indeed. Interesting. Oh, there's even some stacks for him to farm as well. Some small stacks. Gonna like that.
Yeah, he had like I think a 4-stack earlier, Chen made, and he farmed that all up while the mid tower was actually falling. So at least he was also able to farm that up. He knew if he went mid, he would have just died to the Shaker and the Morphin.
Nice little kill at bottom. Onto Always Want to Fly. But yeah, it's not usual we see, well, I mean, not until recently we've seen Zeus being kind of stacked for, you know, you don't really consider Zeus stacking for a Zeus. He's not an alchemist, he's not Sven, but it makes total sense, like the points in Arc Lightning, bring down those creep camps easily.
It's just such an efficient hero at clearing stacks with the new Arc Lightning max out build.
Yeah, since they stopped gaining mana per level, it's become really, really nice just to max up this Arc Lightning as Zayats gets the deny into that ancient camp.
Ooh, they got a lot of 3 bounties on the side of Navi. General managed to steal one, but will he be punished for
Man
it?
up onto the high ground, immediately lifted up by Always Wanna Fly though, but can they finish the dom onto General anyway? It looks like they probably will. I don't think Always Wanna Fly can do anything to save General's life here, as they have got that Viscous Nasal Goo along with just the right clicks from Sumail, and even a Haste Rune to go to boot as well. Roger and Always Wanna Fly could be some tempting little targets here, but they don't want to overextend again. They know how it went last time, just focus on the farm, get that money, and find your advantage on 404. We've talked a lot about the Zeus, but there is another core in this game, and VTune has done quite well in this lifestealer up in the top lane, but he's barely needed any help up here, really. I mean, except for the first 5 minutes, he's been near enough alone, so he's got decent levels.
Yeah, just the lifestealer things, right? Can't really pressure him that well early game. He's gonna sit in the lane, farm up, unless you bring multiple heroes to try and get him out. I think Navi right now, they're just waiting for that Aghanim's timing. In 300 gold, we're going to probably see a smoke come out. They're going to have insane amount of damage output as soon as that's finished.
Yeah, and it's kind of, as many of these games have turned into recently, it's becoming that game of efficiency, who can farm faster. I think that is... Well, I mean, I would have said looking at the draft 404 farm much faster. They've got a Sven, they've got a Morphling, but... At the same time, Iceberg is no slouch. He's got the Ags. He's got an 11-minute 30 Ags. I mean,
Must be the fastest Aghanims.
Surely it's got to be up there for one of the fastest Aghanims of all time.
Especially on Zeus. Like in this patch, probably the fastest Aghanims on Zeus. I don't think there's ever a faster Ags than this in a competitive game.
Pre-12-minute Ags. Hopefully, they can catch someone out 39 seconds faster than the previous record. Wow, Iceberg setting records here in the Epic League. That's some good stuff. Thank you.
And they've rotated.
And okay. They just blow up no one. There it is, the first usage, and they get the prickly little dude.
No one's like, Samir, what happened, dude? This guy has Ags already. It's 12 minutes. What's going on?
Jesus. Iceberg did 1,880 damage there, and he wasn't even on that side of the map. Good stuff. Good stuff. Meanwhile, VTune just taking this tower, happy as a guy. Lifestealer's going to take it down. Oh, meanwhile, we have a slam coming down from Zayats on the sidelines. They're trying to look for Iceberg here. Can they actually finish the job? In comes a Hand of God to try and keep him alive. Beautiful fishes from Always Wanna Fly to keep his Zeus alive. And now they can look for the turnaround as VTune comes in onto Sumail. Sumail going to get the waveform away, but they'll look towards the IO instead. Solo's going to be the new target, and he's going to be taken down with ease. Navi get the kill in the end, and only one hero drops, and it belongs to 404. They're looking ahead to Zayats up top here as well. I mean, he came in with that slam. Oh, beautiful Nimbus. Going to cancel out that TP, and Zayats can do nothing now except die, making a kill number 2 for Navi up here at top, and a double for VTune. They are doing great. Uh-oh. The Sumail? No, he's just looking for the creeps. Thought he was jumping onto Iceberg there, but 'twas not the case.
And to get the top tower too. Finally, Navi are starting to put the pedal and go in for this.
Metal?
Yeah, pedal to the metal. That's what I was going for. I just forgot the words. Yeah, pedal to
It
the
is
metal.
one which sounds very weird.
Exactly. I think the Zeus at this point, you can't really deal with him. If you show up as an Earthshaker in front of Rubik or Beastmaster, you're just gonna die. Flat out die. So you're gonna have to just stay in the jungle, play behind your cores. Morphling won't die to that at least, because he can just morph up. Bristleback should be okay now that he has a cloak. He went for the Vanguard first, so he's still a bit perceptible to the magic damage output, but once he has a hood, he's gonna be fine too. I think right now Error just need to hold out, get some items, get your levels up. Eventually, this will fall off.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Oh, middle lane. You said chill out. It is not happening right now, as no one tries to jump onto Always Wanna Fly in the mid, but isn't able to do so. Though Always Wanna Fly still sticking around. He's got to be careful as he's getting those quills stacked up upon him. But yeah, I wanted to ask you how early we're expecting this Aghanims this game, because Sumail has actually got the Skadi queued up. He's finished off this Manta. Has he finished the Manta actually? No, he hasn't. This is just straight up Yasha Skadi as his game plan. Are we not expecting an Ags this game? Because he's got the Earthshaker on his team, and also the Zeus to steal from as they go onto the Sven, but the reload out in time. Whew. Ramses will be saved, and I don't think they're going to try and protect this Io here. I think they might just be saying, sayonara, little Io. And he will come back and be very quickly demolished. Bye-bye.
I think Iceberg needed to just hold onto his lightning bolt there, not use it onto the Sven. Just wait to see where the IO is after the Wrath and just stop the relocate from happening. That would have been such a big kill. But Sven getting away, just gonna quickly into farm on up. Has Mask of Madness, Echo Saber. His next item probably should be a BKB in this game, I think. He wants to be able to just go on in with the IO. If he gets Aghanim's, it's a lot more difficult for IO to keep tethered to the Sven.
Yeah.
And there it is. He's gonna queue it up.
Yeah, BKB is a plan. So back to the Morphling. Are you expecting the Ags from Sumail this game?
I thought he would go for the Ags and maybe copy the Shaker, but I think he feels he needs a Scotty against Lifestealer and Chen. There's just too much sustain coming out from Radiant side, and just wants to be even tankier. Wow. Yeah.
Just
There we
watching
go,
the
that's-
Iceberg. He just sees someone and just completely demolishes them. Like they don't even get a chance to do anything. There is no reaction to be had because you just don't get a chance. So much damage just by the bucket loads of Iceberg.
Zayak, he's gotta find his farm too. He's got 3 cores that are extremely farm dependent. He doesn't know where to be right now. 0-5 already on Zayak and is only 1,000 gold into his Blink Dagger.
Man, 16 minutes, that doesn't feel good at all. He wants to have this thing completed by this time.
Mekon to always on a fly. He's gonna be alright. He's got the strength morph. He's got the attribute shift from the Morphling. He's got very high HP now on the Rubik.
It's gone full strength, he certainly has, yeah.
And Iceberg now has gone back for that Boots of Travels. There's a lot of mobility on the side of Error here, so Boots of Travels, perfect item to be able to keep up with this split push and also be a part of the engagement. So you got the Chen creeps too that you can easily TP to as well.
I have a question, sir. Is it the best idea to go full strength on Rubik this game when you're playing against basically entirely right-click damage?
You definitely want to have some armor, but maybe it's better if you just bought the armor and you just go full strength. I think it's a lot easier to buy, yeah, to get the armor.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be like an AC coming out from this this Beastmaster
There's
later on.
Ogre Frostmage on Roger here, and he's throwing it on to all his
there you go.
teammates. Yeah.
That's all you
so
need
this
then.
Rubik
Who
is quite
needs
tanky.
armor?
Exactly. It's got-
Yeah, we talked a little bit yesterday about how Sven hates playing into this Ogre Frostmage. It's just very annoying.
Roger has literally been chilling around this jungle like the entire game. Either he's been stacking the big camp or like absorbing the farm that's coming in top or middle, and just finish his mech. Got a little bit of extra armor, even a buckler on top of his mech now.
Yeah, doing well. Doing very well.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Yes, Chen is having a pretty good game. I mean, that's why the big difference is coming in this net worth as well, because the cores are all relatively equal. You know, there's the 4 cores at the top, and then this Bristleback is slightly ahead of General. But the supports, Roger and Always Want to Fly, are way ahead of Zayats and Solo. Kind of expect that from an IO, but kind of interesting to see an Airshaker so far behind. But I guess that's what happens when he doesn't really have a core to play with.
Not only that, you also haven't died, right? On the Radiant side. The Chen and Rubik both only have 1 death versus Error, who have 5 on the Shaker and 3 on IO. Generally, even if you're not doing a whole lot or farming a lot of creeps, if you don't die, you will get your item.
So just don't die, supports. Hear
Yep,
that?
exactly. I mean,
Top
you'd be
tips.
surprised. Yeah, like after, what, 15 years of playing Dota, that's literally the best tip you can give. Just don't die.
Did I die? Yes. Play was bad. Well, Navi are being very patient, I would say, in this game. I mean, you might feel like they're feeling the pressure because they are playing against a Morphling and a Sven. This feels very greedy. It feels very late game. But they're not really pressuring much right now. They've taken 1 tower. That is it. But maybe this is go time. They smoke up. V-Tune, he's just finished. Oh, wow. He's got an Armlet and a Skadi. So this is a big timing for Navi. Boost of Travel also on the Zeus as well. And this might be a great trap here as they look forward towards Ramsey's ultimate comes down. They're going to just try and take down Zayats immediately, and they do so successfully. Ramsey tries to turn around and hit the lifesteal. Does absolutely nothing to him. They try to TP him out. Not going to happen. The Sven goes down. 2 huge kills for Navi. And they will be able to get the IO as well, making it 3 most likely. Don't think Solo is playing his way out of this one.
No, he is not. He is so dead here. As soon as they got that Scotty, it's instantly go time. And this IO, Morphling, even the Bristleback are not going to feel good against this Lifestealer. It just feels so awkward because they have no form of initiation without that Shaker Blink or even counter initiation right now.
Okay, apparently no one's a bit tankier than I gave him credit for as he rocks up in the middle lane, just starts spraying some quills at people. In fact, Roger comes around the back and they're just going to drop the slam on him. They just want to take him down nice and quick, and that is going to be Roger dying, so he's the one that overextends and does get punished for it. And always want to fly once a new spell. He is going to get the Viscous Nasal Goo, and no one comes forwards along with Samael here, stealing the last Stealer form and getting the magic immunity. Meanwhile, Vichin just starts wailing away to no one, but that's causing him to spit out quills like nobody's business, but they will still get that kill, so it's still a pretty good trade for the side of Navi and Etchi, and the instant buyback from Always Wanna Fly, as he seems to think there's going to be more of a fight here, and Vichin certainly trying to make that happen as he comes forwards, but Samael once again stealing that Lifestealer form, using that rage as the stun comes forwards onto the Vichin Lifestealer, and these two guys just kind of wailing away at each other, but Vichin stuck in the fissures. A little V of death, but they don't actually come in and finish the job here, as they realize how tanky this Lifestealer truly is, and that killing him would just be kind of tricky, especially when someone can just come nearby, or a Chen creep can come nearby and just give him a vessel to run away in with the Infest.
Interesting.
Oh, the reason we went quiet there for a minute is because we were hearing that this is also a record speed on the Eye of Skadi as well from VTune. I think 1 minute 20 faster than the previous records. So Navi truly setting some impressive records this game. I mean, it is because they're going for these big fat items very early on, but I think that's because they're recognizing that 404 just aren't going to be playing at the pace to stop them being super greedy. So they're just kind of answering that with greed of their own, and it's working out fantastically so far as they enter the pit, and they're going to be able to take this Aegis by the looks of it.
That's a pretty easy Aegis for them. Error just deciding they have no chance of taking this engagement,
Top
especially without
lane
that
as
Shaker
well.
Blink. Oh my God,
Zayats will fall. Iceberg
Yeah,
finds another.
They also found Samael here. Oh no, got roared up. Lifted.
Gracious. Okay. Navi are taking control of this game, dude. They are taking control of this game.
This also must be a record for like total net worth from both teams combined without an Alchemist or any Midases in the game. Like, look at the farm of all the heroes too.
Don't think they have a stat on hand for that one, I'm afraid, Steven. But
yeah, like it just feels like both teams have just been stacking, staying on their side, respective side of the map, farming it up, and that's it. Even when heroes die, everyone's still farming on the side of Error.
for sure, you click on these heroes, and Iceberg's sitting with Boots of Travel, Aghanim Scepter, and then 4.4k in the bank. I mean, this dude's investing in some cryptocurrency or something, because he's got money coming out of every orifice, as no one's just getting dropped like a rock here on the enemy side of the base, just trying to make some space by going for the deep dive and maybe trying to find a kill or farm on the other side of the map or something. Just dragging Navi back and trying to buy his team a bit more time on this. And guess what? In 23 minutes, Zayats has finally finished his Blink Dagger. All it took was a Philosopher's Stone and, yeah, giving him basically the safe lane, but he finally gets there. Not quite sure how much good it's going to do this late on, but hopefully we'll see some magic coming out from Zayats.
That must be a record for
no.
slower daggers.
Stop with the records.
Yeah. Here we go. Another smoke play. This Beastmaster is so tanky, so fast with that Lifestealer infested in him.
Feeling pretty tense here. Feeling like 404 want to maybe answer this aggression as oh Jesus. Iceberg's just like, okay, I'm gonna pick up an entire Octarine core, because why not? He's farming so fast.
Another record, Nomad?
Shut up, Theban.
I'm really worried for 404 here. They gotta find this Shaker.
Jump in, roar onto the Sven. They're going to try and take him down instantly, and they are able to do exactly that. Bye-bye, Sven. Meanwhile, they found someone else in the backlines here, and that is going to be Zayats. Tries to jump in and make a play, but unfortunately the lightning stops him in his tracks, and now Samael just has to run himself away, heading into the trees, going for the TP out. Iceberg, he finds him, though, knows exactly what he's up to, brings him down with the right clicks. It should be enough to finish the job. A triple kill for Iceberg. This Zeus is out of control this game. My goodness. 3 more kills for Navi.
That's insane. The Earthshaker and the Morphling were in a perfect position to jump the Zeus, but the Zeus popped the Thunder God's Wrath because they found the Sven right away, and they canceled the Shaker's Blink, so it ended up with the initiation coming out from Navi first. I think if Error got the initiation there on the Zeus and he couldn't cast all his spells, they would have been able to turn that around.
Very possibly, but it just looks convincing this way around. As poor old Zayat just gets completely messed up again. Doesn't get to play Dota today, apparently.
Oh, he does.
Ah, well. He's still got a game too, buddy. No, I believe in Zayats. He's a pretty untiltable character, at least, as I've heard, so very tricky for him. Is Vichin really just going to solo Sven here? No way, right? No way. No way. Oh my god, his team aren't even here, and he just 1 versus 1 the Sven. Well, I mean, 1 versus 1. He had an IO, had a Morphling. Vichin, under the tier 4s. He's fighting up into the Morphling now as well. Sumail has to actually back himself away. No one now left alone. The team has come over from Na'Vi. The cavalry has arrived as the Thunder God's Wrath gets dropped by Iceberg. They're actually going to have to save their hero from under the tier 4. That is the sorry situation they are currently in the side of Era. Goodness gracious me. And meanwhile, they lose the racks, by the way.
Yeah, it's quite deceiving. Like, if you look at the net worths, Lifestealer is only a couple thousand ahead, but he's got the buffs from the Alpha Wolf, the Beastmaster, the Solar Crest.
Oh boy, there goes Sumail. Dead for 50 seconds. Bristleback gonna follow as well. They might just go for the tier 4. There it is. There it is. GG, well played. 26 minute. Na'Vi completely dismantle this greedy draft from 404 and take game 1 in style. Oh, we finally got a good slam. Way! Go Zayats. Jesus, that was rough. That was really rough. And the thing is, it's not even like the Morphling or the Sven were particularly shut down. Like, that didn't feel like a game that was gonna go to as short as 26 minutes in that draft or in the early game. But we got into it, and Na'Vi just hit a timing, and they were like, yep, we're ready, we're gonna go. And they just went, and they just did not stop coming, and Just Era just didn't really have any answers to that in the end.
Yeah, it felt like they couldn't get to their timings, essentially, because Na'Vi just kind of out-farmed them with all the stacks that they made, and then they put everything into the Lifestealer basket. So it was essentially like a tri-core versus a single core, like a 4 protect 1, and that's what wins, right? You got all your farms split up between the Morphling, the Sven, the Bristleback, and then none of them can actually make moves for you either. And it just became too much for Error in the mid game.
Well, a crazy, crazy game here in game number 1 of this best of 3 series between Na'Vi and Just Era. We're going to throw it over to a short break, then we're going to be back for the panel to break it down here in game number 1 here in the Epic League. We'll see you very shortly.
EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.
These feelings are waiting for you to come back. Amazing feelings are waiting for you to explore again once the world is ready. Until we meet again. Amazing Thailand. feelings are waiting for you to come back. Amazing feelings are waiting for you to explore again once the world is ready. Until we meet again. Amazing Thailand.
Welcome back, Epic League fans. Game number 1 complete. Game 2 starts now. Navi with a very convincing win. V-Tune and Iceberg both go deathless in the first match as their 10th pick Zeus proved successful. Welcome back, gentlemen. What do we got here for game 2?
More jungle stacks. That's what we
Are
were
you
just
muted,
talking about.
Lacoste? Yes, I am. Now I'm not anymore.
Welcome
You
back,
could
buddy.
see my mouth move, huh? Good call. So, yeah. Navi, man. What a performance. 10th pick Zeus. I really like the Zeus as a 10th pick hero. There's a reason why this hero is banned out most of the time. They needed some spell damage, and man, he delivered. That was the fastest Aghanim Scepter in this patch. Like, it was, what, 13-minute Aghanim Scepter? He was dealing 1k damage per minute on Zeus. Also, like, Scotty on a Life Stealer, 8 minutes faster than before. This is just, some things you need to think outside of the box. Like, there's a reason why no one built Armlet and Scotty on a Life Stealer against the Morphling, which you reduce his healing. Against the IO, it's a great item. It cripples the Sven, it cripples the Bristleback, also the slow to keep him inside that Nimbus. It's just insane. And also to talk about a bit about the stacking, it's all about the stacking. There was 14 camps stacked by Chen, 2 by Rubik, 1 by Zeus. So casual 17 camps, while the other team only had 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually pretty crazy. Just that whole game. They had no way of getting on top of the Zeus the entire time. And as you said, like, you've been talking about items a lot throughout this tournament, Lacoste.
Yeah.
That was perfect, right? Like, actually going and identifying what this specific game needs and not getting, like, bogged down by the current meta. So I will say, the second the draft ended and I was like, yeah, I can see the Morph mid winning. Then instantly I was just like, oh, God, but they picked that Bristle. But honestly, the Bristle kind of worked way better than I expected. If anything, he might have been the most valuable of the 3 cores because of the way no one was able to actually position himself throughout that game to secure a lot of that jungle space for his own team. Now, unfortunately, while he was securing jungle space for his team, we had Navi just like getting way more out of the jungle. So it didn't end up being a net positive for them. But considering the state of the game, I was actually impressed at how much the Bristleback did for them.
It seemed like the Earthshaker that we were all skeptical of delivered about what we expected him to. A tough game for Zayets. He did end up getting the Blink Dagger by the very end of the game, but didn't really feel a big Earthshaker impact in that one.
Considering how many records were broken in the last match, I feel like they were not playing to win. They were just playing so that their names are inside the Guinness World Record book.
Yeah, fair enough. So onward to game 2 here. Already halfway through this draft, Chen Rubik. That'll be the opener for Navi. So the 2 supports that we know they like. They've been playing them as much as they can in this group stage. Magnus and now Treant. I think this might be the first Treant Protector game we've seen in this tournament so far, at least in Division 1.
What happens to the IO now?
Go ahead.
Oh, my guy, my tree.
Yeah, that's you, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's a big fan of the
Is he good right now? I mean, are you hot on the tree, Trent, or have you been?
I'm
cheating
hot
on
on
it with somebody
Zayet's
else?
Treant. It's his best hero.
Okay.
I think Treant and Techies are his 2 best. The hero, obviously, he's gone through a ton of changes. It's kind of always hard to keep up with what's good on Tree and what's bad on Tree at any given moment. So much of it just depends on like how you have to play each game. Like, are you getting to play this 4? Are you getting to play this 5? It's probably going to be, again, a 4 because it is Zayets. So expect it to be like a little bit more aggressive. He tends to play extremely deep on the map to try and like cut waves with Meteor Hammer and give his team that space. But yeah, so this was my question: was the IO still in? It didn't get banned. It makes it this far. So they didn't ban the Storm because they didn't have the IO, but now the Storm just remains. So now that they've shown a Shadow Demon and a Tree, how are we stopping Storm right now? I guess we have the potential Purge to, again, maybe reduce some of the damage, but damn, this looks like a good Storm game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing into one route. They need like 1 extra silence, 1 extra low cooldown stun to control him. Okay, this is going to do. This is really good. So they're going a different route. How they're going to draft like completely different thinking. They have Treant Protector. I'm just wondering who's going to be playing the carry or the offlane. It might be Treant Protector offlane. It might be Magnus on the offlane. Possibly Mag and Treant Protector 4. Shadow Demon just 5, knowing that Solo just enjoys playing Shadow Demon as position 5.
I think the Invoker's interesting too because they didn't go for like the Void, right? Which might have been kind of tempting as a 1 because I would guess Void is their best pick 10th. I mean, assuming Navi doesn't get anything too crazy, but Navi will probably end up banning it, I would imagine now. I feel like Void, Invoker, Magnus is just too good of a combo.
Yeah, they've already prioritized some of those other classic position ones that could fit in here. The PA, the Sven, the Anti-Mage. Troll, another one that fits well with the Magnus with the Empower.
I wouldn't mind a more like active carry hero, like even the Lifestealer again. I mean, there's Tree and Shadow Demon though. Maybe that's just too much. And RP. I guess that's
It's a lot of
pretty good way to
anti-BKB.
dissuade you. Yeah.
Like right now, these 3 heroes don't pressure at all. Hero like a Jug. Let's see if they pick any.
Okay.
Okay, they're just gonna go with pretty much the same heroes. This is how Navi has been playing for quite some time now. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But man, Earthshaking from the last game, huh? That was something.
He's broken.
This is the
Fix
reason
him.
why I don't love the hero. You know, he needs that blink dagger so much, and it's all about the stacking. Also, if he's paired up like hero like a bristleback, he doesn't do that much. Like, there's no real kill potential. He tried to make some aggressive moves on the mid. It was not very effective, but still, he needs a lane for himself for like 3-4 minutes to farm a blink dagger.
Yeah.
Yep. There's that faceless void ban, Trent. Good call.
Yeah, he's just way too good. I mean, that's also partially probably why they took Lifestealer. It's like, okay, well, they have some annoying stuff, but hey, at least we get like 2 guaranteed bans. So, what else is left then for Just Error? I mean, I guess they'll still get to answer based on what Navi does. Navi probably just a classic general hero. They again have focused them pretty hard in the draft. There's the Mars, the LC still there.
I think Void Spirit stands out, still available. I think
yeah.
likely to
They
be
need
banned by 404.
I think they need someone tanky, something like possibly an Underlord, which would, mitigate a lot of their damage. Possibly a Tide Hunter, good response to Mag and the way they want to play this game. A lot of long cooldown ultis, group up, take better team fight than the Navi, and maybe transition that into Roche. Now they have Trent Protector that can play aggressively deep on the map, as you mentioned, Trent, sorry, and you have this living armor which allows you to play globally, and you can set things up with Shadow Demon. So they ban out TB. Okay, that's a good ban against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, TV and the Pango ban too. Actually, that was a nice snipe. We haven't really been seeing a lot of Pango, but that could have been really good for like rolling this game out kind of quick, right? With the Storm and the Lifestealer, just trying to knock the game down on the other end. And there he is.
Oh,
as I already said.
I told you yesterday, Lacoste, General Void Spirit. I know on paper the offlane Void Spirit's weird, but when General plays it, magic happens.
Yeah, good call. I mean, it's because I don't consider Void Spirit as an offlaner. Just it's my personal opinion that I don't, value this hero highly, what he does from the offlane.
I mean, it's hard to execute with. I really do agree there.
All right, who are we? Alacritying, solar cresting, and empowering to victory here on Just
Slark?
Error.
Is this Slark?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the other
Slark,
heroes.
Jug.
Yeah.
Jug. Okay, the other safe one. All right. Empower Jug. That's pretty solid. Alacrity Jug. He likes buffs. He needs attack speed early on, so Alacrity is amazing. Thoughts here, boys? We going to game 3, or is this a 2-0 for Navi?
I think we are.
SD.
I've been not impressed the way Just Error plays as a team, but looking at the drafts, again, not a fan of Void Spirit on the offlane. Like, if he gets shut down, who's going to make the move? Like, you have Storm Spirit, yeah, you have Lifestealer, but I feel like Juggernaut just gets on top of this 1-to-1 matchup where you have Trent Protector, you have Alacrity, you have Mag to empower you. They have, 1, 2, 3, 4 BKB piercing abilities against the Lifestealer, so that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed that it is not Zayat's tree, though. He is, like, by far the best tree player. Yeah.
Yeah, Zayat Shadow Demon.
I do think the Lifestealer pick, it almost feels like they're trying to push the absolute limits of this guy, because they did this again in one of the other games where we were watching. We were like, I don't know. I mean, they love that Lifestealer, but this looks a little risky. And then they still just picked it, and I think they won that game, too. So it's like they're just trying to really show that VTune needs this hero banned when you're playing versus him. So I'm going to go for Just Error, but I did last game too. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, I'm feeling it for Navi. Looks like comfort zone for them, but we'll find out. Game number 2 starts now. Handing it over to the casters again. Nomad and 1437. How you guys doing over there?
Why, thank you for asking, Zyori. Yes, we're doing wonderfully. I'm looking forward to this game. Hopefully we can see a better performance from 404 this time around. Theban, do you think they've got the draft to pull out a winning game too?
Continue.
I think they got a better draft, especially Alacrity, Juggernaut, Empower. Oh, that's going to do a lot of damage. As long as he goes his Mask of Madness build, I feel Rams is going to have an amazing time in this game. The Storm has a lot he's got to do. He's got to get that Orchid real quick. He's got to make some plays, get this Juggernaut while avoiding the Shadow Demon that's going to be camping him and trying to save him. I don't know. Navi got their work cut out for them this game.
Alrighty, partner. Let's get into game number 2. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's on the other hand, though, I think who has the free game here? 'Cause I feel like again, the Iceberg's been set up for a pretty good game. Other than the, I guess the Overgrowth is a bit of a threat.
Yeah.
I don't see what else is going to cause a huge issue for him, though.
It is. I think it has to do more with the Cold Snap and the EMP. That's going to be a little bit annoying for him. So he's going to spend a lot of his time in the jungle, farming up instead of trying to stay in the lane and maybe get his mana burned.
True.
What's interesting right now is Air is looking like they want to aggro tri-lane here.
Yeah. Does seem that way.
And
They
B2 is
actually
just going to
B2
walk his way
all
through.
the way back.
Yep, and General
Get
already
that
down in the
too.
bottom lane. It's going to be just like last game. The off-laner and the safe lane for Navi.
Yeah, always want Fly coming forward, but this is a pretty scary duo to walk into here. I mean, these two are just like damage and slow with the Nature's Grasp and that Shadow Poison. Don't really want to mess with these two. Yeah, interesting how things are being set up right now. So, Bounty Runes are going to go 2, 4, 1, and it seems like they're saving this this other Dire Bounty Rune
Check bottom.
for some mail perhaps.
They want to kill the creeps
wow.
so they can dive. Yeah, Shadow
Okay.
Demon actually got 3 of those creeps too.
Okay, alright. Zayat says, I'm the carry now. After that horrible last game, I'm not going through that again. And he is already taking some creeps away. As they're getting busy onto General now, getting those Shadow Poisons stacked up. This is a really interesting strategy from 404.
Uh-oh.
And things
Yeah.
like this is how I can see them taking the series, right? I mean, these guys aren't a team. They are a stack. You know, so they've said as much in interviews that they are a stack. And they're just going to be experimenting, trying new things, and catching Navi unawares is exactly how they need to play it in order to get themselves a cheeky win here. Because when it comes down to it, Navi will just be the more experienced 5-man squad when they're playing together, not individually,
Yeah.
but together.
I gotta say, that was probably not worth it, because right now the Shadow Demon is out of mana, he's got a clarity. So that was a little bit of a failed experiment on there, and General even had a Dissimulate ready if he was in any trouble at all, actually. So he just played it very cool, chill. He did lose a lot of his regen, though. That's pretty much all Era was able to accomplish over there.
Yeah, another interesting thing I was reading about, I was reading the interview with Ramses in the break, which have been translated, and they were saying that they talk in Russian through the laning phase and then move to English later on so that Samel can actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's a lot easier, right, to speak in your language when you want to
Yeah,
talk
for
really
sure.
fast.
I just find it interesting that Samel's sitting in the mid lane just with sitting on comms with Russians screaming at each other, and he's just like, "Doop-a-doop-a-doo, I'm just gonna play my lane. This is fine." Yeah, so this bottom lane is actually normalized pretty quickly. There's no huge advantage here. 7-2 on the Jug versus 8-3 on the Void Spirit. Gotta wonder if this tri lane is really paying off, because meanwhile up at top, no one. He's actually doing very well himself so far. 12-1 to 10-2. But I imagine this will change. I imagine this Lifestealer is going to start to take over this lane with a few more levels. Already just right-clicking the Magnus the moment he sees him. Every single time.
Yeah,
HG
they
does not
know
want
it's
this
the
Mag in this lane.
And the Chen can actually really help out in zoning a hero out, because you're going to get that Holy Persuasion, you're going to wait to go to the small camp, steal a creep, and his main focus is just stacking anyway, right? So that's why the Mag is having such a great time at the moment. Oh, Roger thinks that camp is blocked, but I think he A-clicked something, when you try to like de-aggro, like when you A-click on one of your own allies, it actually stops the creeps from following you. So those creeps actually ran away, and now he thinks that big camp is blocked, and he's making his way towards the bottom jungle now.
Interesting. But he's got himself that Stormcrafter again, which is quite nice. You know, that big nuking hero, which can help him farm, help him in fights as well, and just generally be super annoying. And get himself a big advantage. We've got Sumail on the Invoker. That's always very exciting as well, but unfortunately his mid lane isn't going fantastically right now, as he's 13-5 to the 20-5 with Iceberg. So once again, Iceberg and his electric heroes having a lightning fast laning phase again.
And Sumail's playing from US East, right? So
yeah, true enough. Can't be easy.
A little bit of a disadvantage at least, and you got a pretty low damage dealing hero. He does have the Blades of Attack now. Oh, it's gonna deny that haste. No haste for you, Mr. Iceberg.
No bottle refill, more importantly.
It's gonna have to go straight back to base. Oh, if Zayak actually poisoned up that hill.
Poisoned. That could have been huge.
Yeah,
Very
but Roger's
sweaty
gonna
TP for Iceberg there, but yeah, exactly. Just popping him straight back into that middle lane. Hello, Sumail. How's it going? I don't need a bottle anyway. I've got a Chen.
So good. So useful.
Down at bottom lane, meanwhile, General taking a little bit of harass. As is always want to fly as Solo, getting those right clicks in on the tree and just doing hella damage in the process.
And it's starting to make more sense now, the Shadow Demon and the Treant in this game, because these heroes are able to steal stacks, actually, as supports. You got the Nature's Grasp, and then you get the Poison. So if you do find any stacks in the jungle, you know what to do. And Shadow Demon can stack as well, very easily.
Yep, as we see him doing exactly here. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if these two want to just kind of group up together and just go around and find these stacks, because, you know, we are in a stacking meta now. And we've been waiting to see if any team tries to take advantage of that, as always want to fly, getting chased by Solo here. Could be in some trouble. Right click comes through. Roger coming to help him out. Ramses also wants to try and grab this kill here. Lift up, throw down onto Solo. Ramses still looking for always want to fly, realizing he's not going to get this one. Meanwhile, Solo's in some trouble, and General's going to be able to sweep in and grab that kill. But now Spin comes out on the always want to fly, and going to be able to grab that one, as Ramses will bring him down and get himself a kill. But it was first blood onto Solo, and now actually Ramses could be in some trouble as he connects with that Remnant. Roger still wants Ramses, but General has turned his attention over towards Zayat instead. Now they will look over towards him. General's taking so much damage from that pop here. Can he finish the job? He can! Gets him with the Shadow Poison. Zayat gets a kill, does go down with pride, but Dai is smiling as Ramses limping back to lane. He's got that little kitten able to heal him up in just a minute, and a salve, of course, from Solo as well. Oh, and a living armor. This guy is healthy as healthy can be.
That was so good for Error there, because Navi actually lost 2 waves of creep under the bottom tower. And that tower is now at 800 HP. Surely it will die by the second catapult that will come out, and Ramses, he's okay with it. He's got that healing salve from the tree and didn't lose too many creeps. The wave is pushing into him.
Invisibility.
All is well. This side of 4-4 currently.
Yep. It looks like no one is TPing bottom now. Wants to start empowering his Juggernaut. He is done laning top against his Lifestealer. The moment Lifestealer has this Bracer and Phase Boost, he's just completely unstoppable. You really can't push him out of the lane anymore.
No. No, Lifestealer is also in a similar position where he's just like huge. So the 2 carries are just kind of uncontestable at this point, as they look to take their tier 1s very respectively. General just trying to be annoying, just bother Rams as much as he can, but they won't be able to stop this one happening unless they bring a lot more heroes. In fact, all 3 cores from 4-4 who are down here in the bottom lane.
I'm liking this. This is a lot faster gameplay coming out from Error. I think they realized last game they just can't be so passive against Navi. And Icebreak here, farming up this nice juicy stack. Oof. Delicious. I just love watching
stacks. Oh, Sumail comes over the tornado, takes 2 of the big ones. They're trying to get some more as well. So Magnus comes over, but Iceberg's able to grab back a couple. That was still a few of the big creeps stolen from their side. And now look over towards General. General, of course, does have himself a couple of spells to use. Dissimulate available if he wants to use it. Meanwhile, Iceberg can jump down. He's actually going to look towards no one here. A couple of spells being thrown out. They don't want to overcommit here as Ramses comes in, and he's got that spin as well. As no one looks in, they don't want to stick around either, because that RP is still a big threat from that Magnus. So they will back themselves out on the side of Navi. Oh, there comes a disruption, and this should be a very dead Rubik, and they'll be able to tear him down with relative ease, and Ramses will get that kill.
Oh, this is so nice. And I don't think they got any stacks left either. And the Storm is still level 6.
On
8 minutes
Ramses
in.
and no one. They're thieving, but over on the backside, Zayats is dying. But if he dies and they grab this stack off them, I think they're going to be kind of okay with that. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Ramses will take the whole thing. The whole
Yeah, that was a
kit and
pretty
caboodle.
big kill too. Check out Zayak's level. He's already level 6 on this roaming Shadow Demon. It's very, very fast.
Yeah, what a 180 from last game. Hey,
Yep. It's got 26 last hits on the Shadow Demon.
Ramses is a little bit deep here. Iceberg thinking of stacking up a couple of static remnants is doing exactly that. He might have caught out Ramses beautifully here, but no, Ramses does have that spin and will be able to get himself out. Oh, Iceberg. It was a good idea, but he didn't really commit to the static remnants. He only dropped one and thought he'd keep the mana for the electric vortex, but we just need to nuke him in time to get the kill before he gets the spin off, unfortunately.
Solo now gonna be chilling out top, protecting this tower, living armoring it, while Magnus and Juggernaut start to play together. Farm up this single ancient stack right here. And then we're gonna just see a lot of farming going on from both of these teams at this point. Neither of them are in any fighting condition, except for Sumail. Sumail feels like, hey,
Storm Spirit, oh no, there's the RP, and Iceberg's going to get a salami sliced in his jungle as no one comes in with a big first RP of the game. Couldn't zip away from that.
yeah, always want to fly. I think had to help him there and try to lift the follow-up after the disruption. But maybe he didn't expect the Magnus to just show up on the side like that and RP him.
Yeah, something was stopping him getting too close. There was a threat which he didn't want to mess with, so does just let his Storm player go down, unfortunately. And an Iceberg. Oh, yeah, it's got
Did he
off
just
this
get
arcane
4
ring on
bounties?
Iceberg. That was quite nice.
They did, didn't they? Navi just got
Yeah, they
themselves
did.
full. That was huge. It's a big gold swing going the way of Navi now with that 4 bounties. And there are catapults out now. Let's see if Navi is actually going to make their first move now. Try to go top and maybe take a tower here.
Yeah,
Roger,
I'd like to see him
focus
take
that
mid.
back.
I don't
It's
know.
a little bit hard for Navi to actually rotate mid and take the tower against a Quaswax Invoker. If you get hit by a single EMP, you've essentially wasted like a minute of movement. So it's going to be a lot easier for them to rotate top, where the Lifestealer has pretty much dominated this area already. And
Okay.
Lifestealer is also going for a Battle Fury. Interesting.
No, so it's- I mean, because this build on the Quaswax Invoker, he's just basically made it so that it's really hard for him to take middle lane, which in turn then protects the Jug, which just wants to farm with his own power.
Yeah.
Allows him to pressure the map. That's very interesting. Very interesting. And it's actually 404 which are looking to pressure in this mid now. I mean, they've taken over the jungle. They're looking to always want to fly as well. They'll throw him up into the air. He is flying for now. Finally gets his wish, but unfortunately it's going to be quickly followed up by death here as Ramsey's going to be able to run him down. Does have to come under the tower for it. Meanwhile, the response is coming on through here. Sumail's in some trouble as he cut through by General. General, can he finish the job though? They will grab him just with the, oh my goodness, the shockwave saves him there, and they will not be able to bring him down. Meanwhile, Zayat stays in the backline to Iceberg. Navi get themselves the trade in the end.
Buyback again. Always want to fly. He's very quick on these buybacks.
He is.
It's not like staying dead.
Can't blame him.
And yeah, and top tower is not dead by the Lifestealer. He is just way too tanky and annoying to deal with at the moment. But how they kill him is with Omni Slash, right? Anytime he's just isolated, they're gonna drop that Alacrity Omni Slash on him. I'm quite surprised that Ramses is not going for the Mask of Madness build. It's probably the most popular Juggernaut build when you're playing with Magnus, or even without Magnus actually. Just does so much damage.
Yeah, people really rate the Mask of Madness on heroes like Jug. If you have a proc, then generally you'll see people going for them on, but not today. Meanwhile, VTune has actually just finished up a Battle Fury, so this man has one thing in mind. He wants to hit some creeps. Interesting.
He really does. He wants to hit a lot of creeps this game. I mean, he's got to be able to keep up with the Magnus and the Juggernaut, and also this Battle Fury will give him some mana regen against this Invoker too, which could be a little bit annoying if you ever get hit by.
Yeah, that's a great point. So they can always get off that rage, always get off the magic community in these fights, and constantly be a fighting force. And get caught with his pants down is the idea. Iceberg as well, he's finished off this Orchid, but we're not really seeing him play with it just yet. The team's really happy to just play a very slow-paced game. He's always on a fly, going to go down in the middle lane to No One, Sumail, and Zayats.
If you're in the perspective of Iceberg, right, you got this Orchid. If you look at Era's lineup, like, who do you go on, right? Invoker has been protecting middle. Shadow Demon has been protecting the Invoker. So if you jump either one of them, they're going to help each other. And then the Magnus is just playing with Juggernaut the whole time. So you can't go on them either. So if you ever do commit into a fight, you're essentially dead unless you got all 5 of your heroes coming in. And that's exactly
jump in, the silence comes out, but no, the tornado from Sumail is perfect! Oh my goodness! 3-man RP from No One, gonna completely catch them out here. However, they've only been able to get themselves 1 kill right now as they infest into Iceberg, zip themselves away, and Navi is still in fighting force. They're gonna try and take this one, but who can they find? They're just backing themselves out on the side of 404. They realize that this fight is kind of over, yet they actually might just be able to get themselves away. V-Tune is chasing, he's looking for solo. Is anybody gonna come back in up? They don't have much mana left on the Storm Spirit, it's a problem, and General is lacking on health, so no one can really afford to go in, and now actually the Storm might be caught out, but he's got the zip away to safety and should be okay. The Juggernaut going to be targeted up here. They silence him up once again, maybe trying to find themselves something. Always want to fly, trying to spin on the front lines. Has to be careful though, that spin runs out. Now he's in some trouble, gets dragged back into the Shockwave, and the Nature's Grasp will finish him off, and that's going to be 404 taking a kill. Is that really 1 kill? 2 kills in this fight? Oh, 1 kill, right? Always want to fly as the only guy that died there. That is mental. They used Omni Slash, RP. I mean, right. they used everything, and 1 hero died.
Right, it was a really good combo, but what happened was the Juggernaut was still Orchided, so he couldn't use his Omni Slash as soon as the RP came off. So they were able to use the Dissimulate. The heroes that were caught was Rubik, Void Spirit, and Storm. Storm and Void Spirit just zipped on out of there.
Yeah.
As soon as...
I think the Storm was really close to dying, but the Infest Burst heal kind of kept him alive at the very last second, and then he was able to carry the Lifestealer out in turn, a kind of symbiotic relationship there. Yeah, I mean, incredible RP, resulting in nothing. I mean, I'd be very upset if I was No One at this point. That was a blinkless 3-man core RP, and there was nothing they got from that. Meanwhile, just a silence out in the bottom lane for Iceberg, but it's going to save him. Wow, wild series so far.
It's going to be a little bit of momentum for Error taking away that mid tower. They're feeling so good in this game. This looks a lot like an actual team right now compared to game 1 where they were just all doing their own thing and farming it up.
Yeah, they're doing moves as a team, playing together and utilizing this Crossworks Invoker really, really nicely. The supports are actually having a game as well, which is nice. Kind of always want to fly as someone struggling in this match. Poor Rubik's been bullied a fair amount.
Probably didn't hurt that he bought out at like 12 in the game.
It probably did hurt him quite a bit that he bought out. Ramses with his alacrity, just backing away at this tower. He's got himself this little kitten of heals. Ooh, they're jumping in here. They want to try and see if they can grab it. Nearly do, but the lift actually interrupts that skewer I think he was going for, and No One to try and catch out that voice. But I don't think he was getting him anywhere, actually. General a little bit too quick on this hero.
They're making a trade for the mid tower here. Tier 2 for tier 1. This is going to open up the outpost for Error. I think they're very happy with this. They're going to take this outpost, go back top, control top and mid again, so they can play for the Roshan next on Error. This Juggernaut is becoming very scary. And speaking of carries, somehow V-Tune is farming just as actually faster than a Magnus and a Jug. And this Jug has 4 kills, by the way. So that's something else, the V-Tune.
Yeah, V-Tune is a monster. He's proven himself to be a top tier carry time and time again over the past few months of competitive EU tournaments. And this game is no different. He is doing very impressively on this Lifestealer. Who needs a Magnus anyway? It's not just a Magnus, it's the alacrity as well to allow the Juggernaut just to destroy creep waves when there is playing a 3 or 4. But I guess that's... I mean, if he had the Mask of Madness on Ramses, I feel like he would be ahead, is the thing. But wanted the Manta to try and deal with the Storm Spirit Orchid, which is fair enough.
Yeah, It is good. I don't even think like if he was for Mask of Madness and then Manta, I think he would also been fine. Especially because the Magnus is just kind of covering him. He still could use some more attack speed. He's going for the Basher. I guess he's relying a lot on this Alacrity though.
404. Let's see what they can see as they run into the enemy side of the map, but they're running into the wrong area. There's no heroes in this part. Oh, they just want to get some vision down and now cut across. See if anyone comes into defend mid. Ramsey's jumping forward, but looks like it's just going to be a tower. 404. Gank not found. I'll take the tower instead. No, Jug being jumped on here. He has that Manta, of course, to get rid of that. Oh, Zayat's actually going for the disruption after the Manta pops. Maybe that's not the best way to do things, but Ramsey's going to be absolutely fine regardless. So all is well. They'll force the heroes back to defend this tier 2 of the mid lane, and then they'll get themselves out safely. 404.
Oh, that's really good. Ramsey understands there's no BKB lockdown on the side of Radiant, so every time the disruption comes out, he can just pop a spin, get out, and once he's level 15, gets that plus 100 Blade Fury movement speed, they're not going to be able to stop him. But here we go.
Uh-oh. They've seen him now, but yeah, once again, use the spin quite early though. We'll see if they're able to punish this one on Na'Vi. They must be tempted by it. Lift up onto the Jug, throw him back, while the whole team is behind them. They have them, those big ultis, the Overgrowth, the RP, and of course the Demonic Purges still all available. And Ramsey's looking for the Omni Slash. Onto always want to fly, says please go to the creeps, and they do actually go at the very last second. V-Tune tries to infest, can't do it, can't save him, and now has to back himself away as an Overgrowth goes off from Solo. Zero man, that's okay. Meanwhile, the back lines, General, trying to look for something here as Iceberg jumps in as well. They're trying to bring down Samael. Can they actually do it though? Doesn't look like it. And now the RP comes down onto the Storm, but they infest inside him to keep him alive. The burst heal comes through. Is it going to be enough? Yes. Jump away from the Storm's going to keep him alive. Meanwhile, V-Tune hanging around the front lines. The Storm RP completely whiffs once again. Now they skewer back onto General. General's being controlled up a little bit here, but V-Tune just in the middle of this fight right on Samael. Saved by Zayats though. V-Tune's being kited pretty well. Ramsey's pops a man to turns around to try and deal with V-Tune, but meanwhile, Storm jumps the backlines, finding Samael. That's a big kill. Rolling towards Zayats as well, and that's going to be another one for Iceberg going his way. Ramses and no one just want to get themselves out, and meanwhile Solo just being chased down by V-Tune. He'll find the extra kill, and that's going to be 3 going the way, and Iceberg might not be done yet. Jumps forwards onto Ramses, the big pickoff. Can they find it? No Manta for 10 seconds. His Jug could be in some trouble. Grabs the bounty rune, has the spin, just about gets out okay. Ramses will survive this one, but on very low HP, and still a big win for Na'Vi. I mean, they just look so clean in these team fights. The way they play it, the tiny little macro plays are looking very tasty.
Yeah, that was such a high skill team fight. The Lifestealer saving the Storm, Storm getting out, TP into base, Chen porting him back into the fight with a Divine Favor. Error thought that they had that fight. Exactly. Error thought the same thing. They were like, hey, we got this fight in the bag. This Storm has no resources whatsoever. Let's keep on going. But once that Storm returned and the Lifestealer just manned up, there was nothing they could do anymore. And Zayak was playing that fight so beautifully. He was saving everyone. His positioning was amazing. But at the end of the day, Navi just had that secret weapon with the Chen Divine Favor.
Yep, it just came down to that one combination from Na'Vi to bring this fight in their favor. But again, you know, it's just on a knife's edge. Iceberg was one hit from dying. You know, if that Jug just got like a crit or one extra hit in, then that would have been it for him. He would have been down. But
Iceberg.
Once more. Oh dear. Oh dear. Caught
That's
out.
a lot of damage.
Yeah, Solo and Samael aren't here to mess around. When they get the opportunity to jump on him, they're going to be able to kill him off.
Yeah, and Samael going for that Solar Crest now. Gonna put that onto the Juggernaut.
Wow. So he's really going for the buff the Jug build, isn't he?
I mean, this is just how you play Invoker nowadays, right? You just buff up your carry, and you just cast your spells to lock the enemy down. These selfish Invoker builds are just not a thing anymore.
Gone are the days of Exhort. Meanwhile, V-Tune poking his head into the pit, saying, hey Ramses, what's going on? He's going to get himself Demonic Purged up. I'm not too sure V-Tune's that bothered about it. Always has that infest if he needs it to get inside his homie and be absolutely safe. The Roche Pit will be interrupted though, as Ramses just picks himself up the Skull Bash. I mean, this could be pretty good into the Lifestealer. Could catch him off guard. Has literally just picked it up, especially with that Alacrity attack speed as well.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like Ramses really needs his Alacrity on, like, while he's Omni Slashing. We saw how he wasn't even able to take out the Rubik earlier, and Rubik only has 1,000 HP, so... It's what he's missing right now, that attack speed.
Yeah. Smoking up, looking for Iceberg. Maybe they can get the cheeky kill on the side. They see him in lane, but Iceberg is, of course, More than ready.
Oh,
Ooh, getting very
smoke
close to
roll.
the Juggernaut there. Oh goodness, that was squeaky bum time for any Era fans out there. Just Era. But they are alright. General just keeping his eyes on this pit. He knows how far forward he can be with his Yules. Not really too worried about silences or anything like that. Just keep on throwing in these remnants into the pit.
It's a very tense moment in the game. This Roshan could be the big turning point for both these teams. No one wants to make a mistake. Half HP Roshan, very tempting.
Yeah,
Ramses, he's fallen to the temptation.
It's too delicious. Gotta get in and try and deal with Roche, but Vichun gonna come in and meet him, and now the carries are just in the pit by themselves, just kind of bashing away at each other. And he's gonna
Always guys on
have
healing
this
ward,
little kid
always
just
on a
outside
fly.
the pit. Disruption.
Pretty big, this healing ward for V2.
It's really well positioned here, yeah. I mean, there's no way they can really kill this unless the Storm goes in for it, which would be super
found
risky,
it.
so... Right now, they are looking for it. Storm jumps in, they're going to try and take out the tree to start this one off. Can they jump in with the RP? No, because the Tornado's going to actually interrupt it. Or was that a Yules, in fact, from General? Very nicely done from him, but Roche is getting so low. General needs to try something. He doesn't have the Astral Step, and Roshan is going to go the way of 404. They take a big step forward in this game with his double damage Jug with the Empower. I mean, this guy's just so buffed up right now that they just couldn't stop him.
Yeah, that was pretty big, and they just couldn't find the proper positioning on the side of Navi. They already couldn't bring down this Juggernaut one time because they have nothing for the spin.
Wow. Ramses
gonna be
really
even
wants to make
harder
the
now.
best use out of this DD, huh?
Yeah.
Will now run out, but yeah, huge aggression from 404 as they take down the tier 2 and even go onto the high ground to pressure the middle tier 3 a little bit.
There's 2 towers top that they can take. They can plant some vision on the high ground here. That's what Ramses is picking out. He's like, hey, let's just control this area, control this triangle, take the 2 towers top. General's so good at stealing bounty runes. Look at this guy. He's always going to the most dangerous places, stealing bounty runes every game, I swear. But it's good though. Like, this is how you,
really
you know,
good.
build a difference in net worth between your opponents. So, and keeping his team in the game. Iceberg does not have a Bloodstone. I think they're gonna continue to split push, trying for this. Wait, there's no Manta on Ramses, but that living armor is gonna be enough.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
clutch
it's
living
okay.
armor.
Yeah,
Should be happy
Iceberg
it was
wasn't
not
really
a
willing
cooldown.
to overcommit to that one. Yeah, for sure.
Samel, like, hello. Oh,
This is a much bigger target if they could jump in, but the RP comes in once again, landing onto all 3 cores. This time, the RP, the Omni Slash, again, it's not enough. The Gold Strength is just going to heal him up to full pretty much. Everyone's still fine. Well, General getting pretty damn low here. He's got to jump himself away. Astral Step out as Iceberg has that life stealer inside of him. Maybe looking for the turnaround here. The Science comes down onto the Juggernaut. They're going to try and bring down his first life, and they will be able to burst him pretty quickly. And now they look towards Samel on the sidelines. But he's got Deafening Blast to force him back, but Iceberg straight away on top of him. They'll be able to take down the Invoker. And now they can look towards Ramses as Vichin gets right away on top of him. General going to chase as well, but he's going for the spin. TPS wants nothing more to do with this one, so they'll take down Solo instead, and that is going to be NAVI grabbing themselves 2 big kills, and the Aegis gets dropped as well. That is a big step forward for them as this game comes careening back in the other direction, and they might not be done. Hello, Mr. Zayats. He's got himself that glimmer, but he's moving himself in a really smart direction to not get caught, and will TP himself out successfully.
that was a very awkward engagement from Error there. They playing into Navi's vision, and Invoker was the first one getting jumped, so it was quite obvious that this is going to be a very unfavorable fight.
Jesus,
Maybe.
Iceberg.
Ooh, wow.
Long
He's got
zip across
H,
the
though.
map, finding the Magnus. Magnus does, however, have that Grieve, so they're going to get through him a little bit more, but Iceberg might be able to finish the job. Oh, a Glimmer Cape from Zayats as well.
good.
And that's going to save him. How many heroes has Zayats saved this game so far? It's got to be a lot.
It is, and I'm not even sure if it's enough. This Lifestealer, man, he's getting out of hand. Look at his net worth. He's much, much higher than this Juggernaut who's actually being empowered.
And Alacrity.
Yeah.
Man, it's a tough game for 404, that's for sure. They had this Aegis. There was a glimmer of hope, but unfortunately, it gets taken away just as quickly as they grab it up. And now they're back to square one with a 5k gold advantage for Navi and a horrifying Lifestealer to deal with.
That Butterfly is going to be pretty big, though, for Ramses. Vtune is going for a Satanic. He's not going to have that MKB quite yet. And then the attack speed is just so much needed for Rams at the moment. He's going to get a Mindbreaker too. That's going to be nice. That's
Yeah,
what Dire has picked up now.
Really good item against
Paladins.
LifeStealer as well, because you can sometimes just catch him off guard with it. You never know, and you can just kind of trigger that in the middle of a fight and stop him getting a rage off at a clutch moment. It's,
Chen, Paladin Sword, Lifestealer. Oh, he's going to take the Titan Sliver instead. He'd rather have the status resistance at the moment. Doesn't want to be RP'd for too long or OG'd. Smart choice.
They are giving it to Chen, aren't they, the Paladin Sword? Or is he keeping hold of this Craggy? I don't think he's keeping hold of the Craggy. That's a shame. Do you like that heal increase? Yeah, meanwhile, Ramses has finished up this butterfly now. He's got that extra attack speed, he's got that extra damage, and also that extra evasion. It'll be pretty critical. So who wins in a straight-up fight between the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut now?
It should be Jug, I think, because he's got the Basher.
Seems right
And
to
all
me,
these
but...
balls. But
Yeah.
the problem is they just keep kiting in and out on the side of Navi, and then this Chen is just such a nuisance. It feels like Eric can't get to the back line and find this Chen.
Yeah. But then I still kind of feel like
Or
no one,
Rubik,
I don't know,
too.
like these RPs have been so fantastic landing it onto 3 cores, yet it's just not enough. And I don't know how to fix that. Like, you can't ask him to get better RPs than what he's getting. So is a new player to go for the backlines? You have to RP the supports instead? I mean, goodness gracious, it's a tall ask for no one this game.
It is. I think the Juggernaut just needs a few more items so they're not so reliant on the Omni Slash to be able to dish out all the damage. Because that's what's going on right now. Like, he can't stand in the fight and just right-click.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't have enough items yet. So, and once he gets a Basher, that's going to be nice. Another form of lockdown. Sorry, not Basher, the Abyssal Blade. Which he's got very, very soon. It's the recipe off now.
Yeah, another one of these hard farming, fast farming games. This really has become the region of efficiency, or the patch of efficiency, to be honest. You just got to try and out-farm your opponents across the map, make those stacks in the early game, and then just kind of buff up your carry as much as humanly possible to turn him into a beast. And win the
Alright,
game.
Vtune has changed his mind. He's no longer going for that Satanic. He switched up into the MKB. Since he sees the butterfly already complete on Ramses, this is the right choice here. It would have been quite worrying if he actually went for that Satanic when Butterfly was so soon to be done on Juggernaut. But now that he's going to have the MKB, I think Ramses is still going to be a little bit worried just to be able to man up in the fights against Lifestealer.
Definitely, definitely. Changes it. They had a window. I kind of feel like I wanted them to fight with this butterfly timing. It's a kind of the surprise of, oh, wait a minute, we can't just bring down Ramses anymore. But unfortunately, now with this MKB up on the Lifestealer, that's no longer the case. So that window of opportunity has shut, and things are once again much more on an even playing field.
Yeah,
When
and
it's
Storm
even, it
eventually
does-
will have...
Sorry, go.
I was going to say, Storm will eventually have a Bloodthorn as well, which is going to be very difficult for Juggernaut to deal with. This Butterfly is not going to have any effect against that.
Yeah, good point. Going to need to save the Manta exclusively for that as well. And with the Void Spirit, with the Ags, that is just a huge ask. Having to use save Manta Spin for just the Bloodthorn. Probably going to want to get one of his supports to find themselves a Lotus Orb, which isn't really looking likely with the way this game's been going. These aren't very rich supports. Well, Zayats is doing pretty well, but he's going for a Blink Dagger.
A pause. I think I needed that. This game was getting too tense, Nomad.
All right, everyone, let's have a nice quick breathing, a big stretch. Everyone in chat, there we go. All of us, all the watchers. That's it. Deep breaths. All right, G, yeah, we're back in the game. All right, glad we've all unwound. All nice and flexible coming into the second half of this game. And don't think any action's going to be happening just yet. Although I say that, no, Navi are sticking their heads in. They are interested. They are making an offering. And then they go, Abyssal Blade straight away onto the Void Spirit. Can they finish the job, though? They can't. He actually manages to get himself back. Now Ramsey's stuck with his lifesteal as the Overgrowth comes through. They want to try and take out the supports. They're going straight onto the Rubik. Can they finish him off in time? RP comes down after 3 with the Omni Slash. Can they bring him down in time? Yes, they can. That is a Storm out of the equation, but he's going to buy back immediately and try and get himself back into this fight. Meanwhile, the Juggernaut can trot up a little bit. V-Tune still wants him, but he's got that spin to get himself back. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, they're kind of backing themselves away slowly from V-Tune here as the one-man army comes forwards, and now Iceberg comes up to join him. Solo and Ramses up to that high ground. V-Tune slowly chasing here. They're so tempted to just go out and try and fight this lifestealer, but they know how badly it's gone in the past. General on the run. Ramses does have another Abyssal Blade available. Na'Vi realize this, and they are just going to wait on this high ground now. I love the way they're playing around this high ground, but now they jump in with the Storm, trying to find the backlines. Who can they find? No one is the answer, because Glimmer Cape from the Shadow Demon is actually going to save him here. And now it's once again 4-4 in the front lines. I mean, it really is just a game of cat and mouse, one onto the other, and now the Abyssal Blade comes down. They'll take down General. They do get the Void Spirit, just catching him out in time before he gets that jump away. And that is the second really big kill of this fight, actually, as the Storm's been brought down previously, and now the Void Spirit gets brought down. And the buyback on Storm is super critical as well.
That was such a nice skewer into 3-man RP, and then the Juggernaut Omni Slash was able to kill off the Storm Spray, even though the Chen did use the Guardian Greaves and the Hand of God, and instantly buying back. They were expecting Arrow to just fall over in this teamfight because they've used up pretty much every single one of their ultimates, but nice kiting by them, baiting Na'Vi back, and Lifestealer, every time he popped Rage and he couldn't get on top of someone, he just had to run away. So became very confusing for them at this point. And I think Error now have a huge win condition in the Storm Spirit and Rubik, where they don't have buybacks. If they get this next Roshan, which I think they will, it's going to be so hard for Na'Vi to fight into this without knowing that they cannot afford to die on the Storm or the Rubik.
I'm going to be honest. Even though, Na'Vi have been playing outstandingly recently, especially Iceberg. We saw his last game, a record-breaking performance on his Zeus. Absolutely unstoppable. One of the best Zeus I've ever seen. But Iceberg, as a player, in these positions, he's definitely somebody who could possibly die without buyback in a way which maybe isn't necessary and lose his team the game. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. But we know Iceberg. Anybody that's followed this guy for a long, long time knows that this guy is known for his arrogant plays, and I'm hoping he's it's a big test for him. Got to keep it cool, not overextend, not put yourself in a dangerous position where you could stand a chance of dying and end up losing the game for your team, because without him I really don't think Na'Vi stand much of a chance of winning a fight. You need everyone. This game's just so even. The one core dead is a huge deficit.
That's the thing about these carry metas, right? Where if the enemy hero doesn't have buyback or die with no buyback, then you can just walk up the high ground, buff up your carry, and you're just completely outnumbering them. If they come into the fight, you just commit to the fight. You don't care if it's 4 versus 5 in an unfavorable position on the map. It's just too much for them to deal with.
Ramses into the pit. The Juggernaut slicing away at Roshan. Wow. Oh yeah, he's making himself some nice Roshan kebabs for his whole team. Slice them up nice and thin with some chili sauce and garlic mayo.
Are they gonna try for this? What's up, Iceberg? What's the plan here? Zipping on in.
V-Tune's gonna wander into the pit. Hey buddy, how's it going? You doing Roshan here? Mind if I join? No, you're not invited, but actually the lift up onto Jug. He's might be in some trouble. The RP comes down, tries to lock on Lifesteal. The Aegis is on the floor. Who's gonna take it? Ramses is able to grab it in the very last second before he dies. Meanwhile, the Skewer 2 out of the pit, but Iceberg's flying around. He's gonna be able to take down the Magnus. Meanwhile, Jug looking for a target, but he's actually gonna end up dying. It was the disruption which saved him before. And now he is gonna die for a second time, perhaps, so another disruption comes through. But General in the backlines, he's throwing down the silence to make sure that his supports can't come in and help out Ramses. Ramses getting so low in that spin isn't enough to save him. Abyssal across to keep himself alive, gets a kill and always want to fly and eats that cheese as well. Surely the Juggernaut must die here. Surely he's gonna go down, and he does finally lose his life. The king is dead, and everyone else just needs to run. Sumail running himself away, but Juggernaut has actually paused this one, as we have some unfortunate lag going on from both teams. But my goodness, I mean, Wildfire, Thuban, please break it down for us.
Oh, that was so fortunate that the Juggernaut was able to get the Aegis once he came back down, or after the disruption there. Oh, I thought that was gonna be really bad for Error if Lifestealer or the Storm managed to pick that up. Shadow Demon making some really clutch disruptions in that engagement, keeping the Juggernaut alive long enough. The Omni Slash came out in the Roshan pit but the score away kind of broke it. And then he was just in the middle of the fight without Omni, just trying to right-click heroes down. And this hero just doesn't do anything about it. Oh, wow.
Where'd he go?
Whoa, wait, what?
The storm just got decimated. And now the skewer across onto Roger. He's going to die as well. Zayats gets himself a triple kill. Excuse me.
He had like a five poisons on the storm or something. He took 900 damage in the end there, yeah.
Yeah, just dropped the ultimate on him, dropped down the poisons, popped him like a pinata. Goodness gracious. Okay. Well, turns out it's not that good for Navi after all. It's looking great for them at one point. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, the RP was actually the thing which stopped VTune from picking up the Aegis. They just dropped the RP onto the Lifestealer just simply to stop him from grabbing the Aegis and made sure that their Juggernaut got it. But even with the Aegis and the cheese, the Juggernaut still wasn't able to win that fight. It's muchly to do with the Void Spirit at the backlines just being so annoying. I mean, General has been such a huge fight disruptor with the Zagonims and the Silences on the Resonant Pulse. It's been very, very frustrating for the Shadow Demon and the Invoker to play with. I think
they're gonna have
need a BKB, but he's committed to the Ags at this point.
I think it's good because they actually do need another source of damage apart from just the Omni Slash, right? True. In these engagements, it feels like Omni Slash and Shadow Demon has been their top source of damage. So Aghanim's, that's going to be nice to split up the fight a little bit. And I think Error are just going to keep on farming up and try to control Navi into their base while they probably want to wait for another Roshan, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think they can just walk straight up into the high ground. But you know Ramses, he feels confident with that disruption behind him.
What do you want to see no one going for next?
It's got a Force, got a Blink, it's got Lotus Orb maybe. I think that could be nice, especially when Storm will eventually get into a Bloodthorn. You're going to need to use that onto the Juggernaut. Will also stop the Rubik or the Storm from like start initiating on the Jug too.
Yeah.
I think Lotus would be a great item this game. If he feels like they need another RP, he might go Refresher too. BKB probably doesn't need it. He's got the Guardian Greaves to be able to like remove the silence and just pop the RP.
Yeah. Can always get it off. Well, 38 minutes in, and this game is about as close as it gets. As these tier 4 items are signed to drop a leveler for the Lifestealer. It's possibly a welcome sight. Yeah, definitely a welcome sight. Attack speed, loves it. Now Samael poking up the high ground, just looking to threaten with his Tornado. And this Ags he's got now as well, where it's going to combo up so nicely with the RP. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better performance from this Magnus this game. Seriously, this guy has been doing some hella work, dropping down RPs. Earlier on, he was getting the cores, and whilst it wasn't actually winning them the fights necessarily all of the time, there was still incredible RPs. I mean, he himself has been putting in the most work on this team in this game, for sure. You could say the Jug, sure, but I mean, it's Juggernaut playing with the team based around buffing him up. So I think when you take that into account, he's performing very well, but not as well as this No One Mag has been.
Definitely, he's been spot on. He only has one death too. Normally, Magnuses, if they're just running around empowering their carry, they're not getting a whole lot of farm. But his positioning, he's been able to find items. It's just been so spot on. No one. I've been quite impressed with his offlane, honestly. Yeah. He only switched like a couple months, maybe. I think 1 or 2 months he's been practicing playing this role.
Killing it. He is killing it. What about the supports? Who out of the 4 supports have you been most impressed by? I mean, it's easy to say Zayats after his last fight.
In this game?
Getting the triple kill is pretty insane.
Not only in last fight, I think he's just been playing phenomenally this game. His positioning and just being ready to disrupt the perfect targets on his side of the team. He hasn't really fed either. Close.
No, he hasn't. He's been very careful. Using the Sunstrike to get the D wards. That's some style points right there.
Game 1, he had a pretty rough game, but I can't really blame him, right? You're playing in a tri-core lineup. You're not finding any farm as a support in a tri-core lineup, especially when none of them want to make plays on the map. So this game is like a pretty good game for Zayak. He knows what he can do in this game, and he's living up to it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Zayat when he's playing on this on these heroes like Shadow Demon. You always feel like, man, if we just free up this guy, give him a bit of space, he is going to do so much with it. You can always trust him to overperform if you give him the resources.
Oh,
to do
smoke
so.
from
Smoke
Navi.
up. General leading that charge. Oh, Solo, look at him in the trees, but they've actually found him. General gets straight on top of him, and they're going to be able to bring down the tree. All right, fair enough. No hesitation from General there, just to jump straight into him and finds him immediately. Very nice.
60 seconds, 4 versus 5.
They might be looking for no Abyssal Blade out onto him. Can they get them down with the RP? Come down onto 2, but no one gets silenced up, so he can't go in for the Abyssal Blade coming through, doing so much work with the Omni Slash on top of it as well. Cataclysm comes on down. They've taken down V-Tune. V-Tune has no buyback either, so no way back into this fight. All they lost was their tree and a buyback, of course, from Always Wanna Fly. Coming his trademark at this point as General trying to run himself away with that flicker. He's got himself a Yules in 1 second to dissimulate as well, so a very tricky target to bring down once Iceberg deals with the creeps. But man, that was over in the flash of an eye.
Oh, that could have been much worse. It would have been much worse. That was like a 3-man RP, but the Juggernaut was Yuled before the RP went off, so they removed the Alacrity, they removed the Solar Crest. If that was an Omni Slash with both of those on, oh man. A flash of a second. Yeah, would have been much faster than that. Zayat?
Jump in, Zayat, but it's actually Storm who could be in some trouble, but the Abyssal Blade actually comes down onto General instead. They'll take down the Void Spirit. Maybe not the most value choice, but at the same time they couldn't really reach Iceberg at the back there, and now another skewer out. Always Wanna Fly, dragged out of position by the Magnus. And Ramses gets himself the double kill, and now he's on that high ground, chopping away at that tower. Meanwhile, Storm comes through to deal with the creeps, will do so easily. And they also use the Yules onto the Juggernaut to make sure he can't get any cheeky bashes or Abyssal Blades on the Storm as he clears out that creep wave. But it's still not going to make a difference. They're still going to get themselves that melee barracks, and another look in towards bottom as well. 20 seconds on that Lifestealer.
Damn, that was such a sick play from Zayak there. He actually had his Aeon Disc locked, and then he opened it the moment they jumped in. Oh, and he finds the Iceberg too.
He's got himself the Minotaur Horn on the Storm Spirit, so he can just get himself away with complete ease. But yeah, that's 2 lanes of barracks to the side of 404. They are doing it.
Nice.
43 minutes in. All it took was one huge team fight, and Roshan's going to be up in 2 minutes. I mean, this is something which Na'Vi must fight around. The thing is, they're at a huge vision disadvantage at this point in the world, in the game. Not a single ward out on the map, which is really going to hurt.
It's pretty crazy how Error got the fight that they wanted. The Treant died first, and they kind of baited Na'Vi into chasing them out into the bottom jungle area and played it under their vision.
Yeah, the Jug hiding behind those trees with the Abyssal Blades kill off the Lifestealer was absolutely sick.
And that was a 4v5 fight.
So now jumping on to Always Wanna Fly. Doesn't do much damage though on this Invoker, and now he's actually getting jumped by Iceberg. Might need some help, and of course Zayats is there with the disruption. Solo trying to get off the ultimate, the overgrowth being cancelled out, but it doesn't make a difference. He'll be able to get a kill. Meanwhile, Ramsey the backlines just chops through V-Tune again. He brings him down for a second time, and they're just going to call it straight there because they do not have the buybacks. GG well played is cool in game number 2, and 404 will get their revenge and level out this series. My goodness, what a performance. I mean, across the board, really. No one. Ramsey's at the end really stepping it up and kind of taking a huge bite out of Na'Vi, just solo killing their... Well, no, definitely not solo killing, but being the main cause of the Lifestealer's death in the final few fights was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just Error doing a huge amount of work in this last game.
Yeah, Nolan and Zayak, they really showed up for this game. They were spot on with their positioning, their spell casting, and Error overall just playing very aggressively compared to game number 1. It's very much like how Liquid played against Viking yesterday after losing game 1. They just pretty much were like, guys, we can't play passive Dota. It just doesn't work for us. Let's just get in there, try to apply pressure whenever we finish farming, and just keep going. And that's exactly what they did this game.
Absolutely, roll up them sleeves and get involved. Alrighty, folks, well, you've had some lovely Dota, now has some lovely ads, and then you have a lovely panel after that as well. Sit tight, and we'll see you very soon after this break.
EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.
These feelings are waiting for you to come back. Amazing feelings are waiting for you to explore again once the world is ready. Until we meet again. Amazing Thailand.
Hey there, Doters, and welcome back. We're going to Game 3, starting in just a couple minutes here. A tight Game 2, unfortunately for NAVI fans, sweating a little bit. But 404 stepping up with a great execution on that Juggernaut.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, their carry is just a better carry than the Lifestealer when you throw all that stuff on him. Empower, Solar Crest, Alacrity, Living Armor, whatever is their Guardian Greaves. They have BKB piercing abilities against the Lifestealer.
2 Glimmer Capes.
Glimmer Capes. There's also like save coming out from the Shadow Demon if he feels threatened. And the most important thing is there is no BKB piercing ability on their side. So, whenever Jug feels threatened, he's just going to spin and run away because their chase potential is, not the greatest. I'm really surprised how good Navi did in that game considering the lineup that they had.
As well as how many times it felt like Era were hitting like those big ulti combos where it was just like, tornado into 3-man RP. How many times did Chen make the big saves like Hand of God AoE with the the heal buff? And with a mech, I swear he healed like 80% of their HP several times in a row. And then the infest saves from V-Tune as well. Like that game probably should have gone even worse for Na'Vi if they weren't like playing out of their minds in some of those team fights.
Chen was like the real combo breaker in a couple of those engagements. Also, no one had a really good game on that Magnus. Multiple times where he caught key heroes with the RP, 2, 3 setups. Even that game-ending catch. Pretty picture perfect, right? Ramses jumps in, great Omni Slash on top. It's just over.
Every single time it was a 2-3-man RP. His positioning was beyond godlike in this game. He managed to die only once. You're playing into the Storm Spirit. His itemization was on point, getting Guardian Greaves, then getting a Blink Dagger, also a Force Staff against the Lifestealer, something we don't usually see. Like Force Staff has kind of fallen off as an item. It's pretty expensive in terms of mana cost. 100 mana to push people out of the danger, and also the range, the cast range of it got nerfed, so that's kind of a big deal.
And you can dispel, like, if you have nullifiers now too, like people can't be saved. Like now we see when you buy like 4 staffs, the enemy carrier just buys a null, and then you can't save anyone.
Well, here we go. Game number 3 begins, and once again, it'll be a Na'Vi Chen, but this time, just Error. They'll grab the Crystal Maiden. Good tools against the Chen, and then also Doom, who also has a tool against the Chen. So that Chen army might be struggle bussing in this game. Yeah. That's not going to stop Chen from stacking, of course. But
all right, so mid Mirana, then we need an Ench,
and everyone gets Hand of Midas.
Perfect.
Okay. And then Roger won't be able to do anything. He won't be able to heal. He won't be able to stack. It's almost like Chen's nice and well-rounded, huh?
Good hero.
Yeah, it's a very good hero, especially if you know how to use him. But I like the opening from Just Error. They're already preparing. Playing against Doom, whether you're playing carry, whether you're playing mid, it always feels tough. At that one point, it's going to become a huge problem. One thing I like to see when there's a Doom on the team, like you need to have a good catch. Otherwise, if they can just, fall back, if they have good disengagement methods like Centaur ulti or something, you need to be able to catch them with that Doom and just focus that target and kill it.
This might also be a Zayat's Doom too, because he plays that quite a bit as well. So they have a lot of flex. I agree, it should be probably the 2 or the 3, but have to keep in mind depending on how the draft goes if it's worth going for the.
Whoa! All right, hold the phone, guys. We got another Storm Spirit Chen opener. Na'Vi know what they like, and they're going to stick with it here. As Lacoste has said a few times, don't fix what ain't broke, and Na'Vi will continue that here. Now, Lacoste, you are our resident item expert. Now, I want to ask you about that Battle Fury we saw in V-Tune last game. What were your initial thoughts when you saw him pick it up, and then what were your thoughts when the game actually ended?
Well, first, when I saw it, I was like, man, that's shit. Like, this is a complete garbage. What is he doing? I hope he changes it, but I was wrong. Like, he was just trying to keep up with the Juggernaut. He was actually staying ahead of the Juggernaut, who's, farming with the Empower, sometimes with the Alacrity. There were a couple of stacks. Still, he managed to outfarm the Jug, which is pretty impressive. And in those kind of situations, I think it's all he can do, like considering that they don't have anyone to, just initiate on the Juggernaut, stun him while he's spinning. There isn't a hero that Jug was afraid of in the previous game, why he had such a good game. So it's not just about, hero against a hero matchup, carry against
Mhm.
carry. It's also about who do you have to back him up. And it was tough. Like, I don't mind. I think
Yeah.
the itemization was actually much better than I would go for. And the V-Tune just, knows Lifestealer. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I saw it. Like, I think the last time I saw Battle Fury Lifestealer was, I don't know, when Battle Fury TB was popular.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the good one.
I mean, that item has gone through phases where Battle Fury is just good. So you start seeing it on. I remember seeing Battle Fury on PL a couple of times. So like, this is weird, but
Yeah.
I guess it's worth it. It's overtuned right now. But yeah, absolutely. I think Ramsey's itemized very well. The early Manta against the Storm, absolutely crucial. He could not have gotten away with a Battle Fury, nor does he need it when he has Empower. But yeah, I was just a little nervous that if they didn't fight so well on just error, that Jug could have lost momentum against the Battle Fury. But
Now, Navi had some great spell casting in that game. Like, considering the situation they were in, they did much better job than I expected them to do, and somehow they were keeping the game pretty even until just
They're
Jug
even
gets
ahead
out of
for
control.
a pretty decent quality of that game, or
yeah.
longevity of that game. So
Yeah. Well, taking our
there's-
time on bans, Navi finally take out the Invoker after thinking about it. They've already banned out the Anti-Mage, obviously a counter to the Storm Spirit.
there's still
And-
Sven and PA as well, and
Yeah.
Void, right? A lot of the hard carries making it through. Spectre, the only one taking out in that first phase, and then
Why
none
would
of
you
them
ban
picked.
PA?
So I'm
There's
just
no
listening.
need
That's
to
what they banned
ban
last game.
perfectly balanced heroes.
I mean,
When
just
Magnus
error.
is left in the pool, you know.
Well, like they could go Magnus PA now if they wanted to. That combo's still here. Lena now for Navi. Interesting.
Okay, probably for Roger. Well, I guess it can go either way, right? Not for Roger, rather. Used to be more of a. Well, actually, it probably will be Roger. And always want to fly. Maybe plays the Chen. I don't know. Maybe it's.
I'm not
specific.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it could possibly be a position 3 Lena as well. I
Oh,
love
yeah, true.
Lena.
I had
when
that
she
thought,
gets
but
the
I didn't
farm.
want to say it.
It fits in specific games. You know, it's like it's not a true 3 in some ways. Like you definitely need a 4 that's like perhaps a little bit tankier and likes to
Earth Spirit
initiate
or
a little bit
something.
and give some
Tusk.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also that can lane with you, so it can be hard to make it work. But we've definitely seen it popping up a little bit in Europe.
Okay. The sisters will face off against each other here. Fire and Ice. Now, what do we want for just error?
I'm sure
Pretty
they're just
open-ended.
thinking if they want to go Mag or like what is their one this game is what I would be thinking. Like, are we doing a Void game? How good's Void right now? They have Chen save. They, catching a storm can be kind of annoying.
Question.
So it's like, should we just go Sven?
Is 4 Grimstroke a thing? In Nature's
Yes.
Prophet.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it?
it's mostly played as position 5, but he also scales with the items in certain situations where you can just like get, let's say, second item Aghanim Scepter. If it's a good game, you're playing into, let's say, Phantom Lancer, Spectre, these type of heroes that can solo carry the game, and you just make the Ags. This is one of the most, I would call, underrated Ags, the most underused, where you can just, win the game by getting that item.
Yeah.
Okay. When I see Doom
Carry
like
that
this,
actually hits harder. It's pretty ridiculous.
I still think about that combo. The double Doom can be pretty game breaking if you get it off consistently.
Right now, I'm just looking at this Orchid match now, right? Where basically, if Storm wants to go Orchid, you
Yeah.
can't just go right into the Bloodstone after, because this Prophet will probably go Orchid, assuming it ends up being a core. And this could be a 1, 2, or a 3 Nature's Prophet right now. None of those choices would surprise me. Ooh, that's a good
Swadar.
grab. Oh, Slardar versus Doom and Nature's
So
Prophet.
good.
And even CM, now you have a cancel on the ulti in case she glimmers.
And there's that pairing
And with
Lena,
LSA. And
right? Really
Centaurs.
easy setup for LSA and just big damage overall. Great kill combo.
Probably
so, yeah,
Sven.
They need a carry for Navi. I think they're just keeping things simple. Slardar, Lena, double stun lane on the off lane, Storm Spirit mid, Gen +1 on top. And yeah, I think they need to start thinking about like Phantom Assassin plus Slardar combo. That's insanely
PA's
good.
getting banned, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, the DK Prophet combo. Okay. We saw this yesterday, right?
What's the combo again?
DK Furion. You
Just
push.
chain stunning, taking
Push,
buildings early.
okay.
Push
I
and
was
chain
like,
stun?
Yeah.
I was not aware of it. I was like, maybe there's something
Well,
bigger happening.
No, it's not that big
Like
brain.
he
It's just two
sprouts
pushing
and
heroes,
then you
Lacoste.
use
It's
Dragon Tail. I don't know.
So the Dragon Tail into the Treant Surround. That's the play.
Well, per usual, I'm confusing games. We saw DK with Death Prophet, so two pushing heroes. But you know, same strategy, man. Let's take some towers.
Yeah, you go, bud. All right, what do Just Error want? Because they have first pick, so whatever hard carry they leave in is probably the one they're angling for here. Jug is not that great at this point with the Slardar. It's like okay. Kind of fits their timing.
What about Terrorblade?
Decent
there. I
Terrorblade
mean,
game. Yeah.
There's Storm and Lena though, which is kind of
True.
You know.
Lena's scary. I was thinking high armor against the Slardar, but I guess most carries have that.
Yeah, actually, when you said it, I actually thought you were talking about Na'Vi when you said that at first, and then I was like, yeah, actually, it looks good for Na'Vi, but then they banned it, so they will
There
not
it
be getting
is.
TV.
So Navi's getting rid of the range carries against the Slardar. They want to get rid of TB is a good. I think that really benefits Navi that Just Error banned TB because it was also a possibility for them to pick it, at least from what I see. Like you're not. This is going to be a really strong lane. Lena Slardar, especially if you're playing against a melee hero. So maybe a Drow Ranger, even though you're playing into Storm, Slardar, it could still be a decent Drow Ranger game since you have these two beefy boys, Doom and Dragon Knight.
That's
But everything's
just
still
crazy.
open for Just Error. Look at their heroes. Like Doom
Yeah,
can
they
be
could
played at
won the
multiple
Prophet,
roles.
right?
Dragon Knight, same goes for Nature's Prophet.
And that kill lane of Slardar Lena, that might make you want to consider doing an off-lane DK because he's pretty tanky, has a lot of regen. So normally I'd like him as mid, but this is a pretty good 3 DK game.
I think they just put Nature's Prophet as a carry against the Slardar so that you have a ranged hero and then mix it up with the
I kinda
Doom
like
Dragon Knight,
DK.
see what's going to
TA?
happen.
Whoa, a bad one.
Yeah. So 4 Doom, 3 ABBA, and then the DK or the NP are going to depend based on the matchups that are left. Probably
I think so.
DK mid still. Well, I guess you just want to make sure that you get the matchup of the ABBA in. I guess ABBA can't really lane versus Slardar Lena though. That sounds kind of bad.
I mean, don't you want DK versus Storm anyway?
No, I think what they want is Nature's Prophet against the Slardar lane where you don't care too much about Slardar's bash, and then you're going to adjust, see what they're going to do, what kind of carry they have, and you can be fine, just losing one lane or getting even and winning that lane with the Nature's Prophet. When he hits level 6, you become more aggressive, you start playing globally and get the advantage going.
But you're trying to get the lanes you want versus Chen, which is kind of an issue. At the same
That's
time,
true,
you also
but
have
it's
Nature's
also
Prophet.
Nature's Prophet.
So, but then again, when do you want to get TP? So this will be quite the musical lanes, I imagine. So who's left? Void and Sven are the 2 big dogs left. And they go back for the Slark.
Well, Slark's nice against these tankier cores. DK, ABBA, work those essence shift stacks. So I could see it from that perspective. Very curious to see the selections for Just Error. Okay,
Man, I love this Slark.
Solo takes the Crystal Maiden, Azayet's Doom.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the rest of yous?
They're just checking their cosmetics to see who is the better ones. That's
Right.
actually what determines between the DK and the
I mean,
NP.
as you would.
Yeah, that's just logical.
No one takes the ABBA, so he'll be headed off lane. Sumail Dragon Knight and Ramses will indeed take the Prophet.
Wow, with the mushroom hat, it's no surprise.
There it is. All right, so the game 3 decider, gentlemen. What are we thinking here? Who's taking this?
I'll go with
like
Navi.
Navis.
I think this 10-pick Slark, they have no real stuns. They have no AoE that Slark is afraid of. If he gets doomed, and they have a lot of heals coming out from Chen, can keep him alive. Also, he should have a free time. Like in the lane, he's going to be playing against ABBA and also Dragon. Like he's really good against all of these heroes that Just Error have.
Yeah, I think the lanes should be set up in a way that looks good for Navi, and that gives me a lot of confidence in them moving into the mid and the late game. Because with the Chen, you should be able to get the matchups you want, and some of those matchups look pretty bad for Just Error. So combine that with a lane that Storm should just be okay with. I always like Storm versus DK. Sure, the DK is good; it gives you a stun throughout the game to try and control the Storm, but at the same time, there's no way to punish the Storm in the lane. He just does kind of fine. He's going to be jungling.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll punish your tower a little bit, but in the end, I'm pretty happy with that as a Storm. as my allies. So I'm gonna take Navi.
Okay, the analysts agree. Let's see if Navi will in fact do it. Now over to the casters. 1437 Nomad. What's going on, boys?
Howdy, partners. Yeah, welcome back as we get into game number 3. I mean, I'm not sure I'm convinced about Navi's draft this game. I think 404 have a lot of ways to play this one out. What about you, Theben? What say you?
Yeah, I think so too. It just comes down to how farmed the Slark is going to get and how quickly, because Error, as soon as they start balling up, it's going to be very difficult for Navi to actually take any engagements. You got the Abaddon shield, DK is super tanky on his own. Storm and Slark both have to worry about the Doom if they enter the team fights, so Slark better be snowballing his lane this game.
Yeah, he has to be. It really is a lot of pressure on the Slark, I think, because it's not looking like the freest Storm Spirit game, I don't think, with the instant snap stun from the Dragon Knight, and then, of course, you've got the CM Rouge, you got all sorts. And also, I think Abaddon does a really good job against Storm, because Storm wants to just jump the backlines and save someone, and hopefully no one will be in position to make sure that person doesn't die. And also, there's only really 1 or 2 targets you can really choose to go on as the Storm, and that's probably either the CM or the Nature's Prophet. And even the Nature's Prophet, you know, this position 1 Nature's Prophet, he's going to get plenty of farm. He's not really going to be too fragile when it comes to Storm jumping on him. So yeah, I'm not sure this is the ideal Storm game, but it was picked early, let's not forget. It was picked early to enable Navi to get some of the different picks coming in later, so it will remain to be seen how good this Slardar is, I suppose, as we set up for the runes.
Going to be standard 2 for 2. Yep. And the Crystal Maiden actually starting out top lane level 1. The Nature's Prophet is able to deal with the Slaughter bottom no problem, so this will be favorable for Error if there's a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. Crystal Maiden already starting off with Nova level 1. Not waiting to see if he needs Frostbite.
Yeah, no, just going straight in. Knows that it's going to be a busy lane, it seems, and wants to have the best ability for hitting multiple heroes with, which is definitely the Crystal Nova, as she does land that on 2 straight off the bat, which always feels pretty good. And Zayats is going to be on its Doom as well. I mean, this is a hero which he used to play so much back in the day. He used to be playing loads and loads of Doom. Still does play a fair amount, but yeah, definitely very, very comfortable on this hero as he goes and steals a creep wave.
And they instantly D-ward.
Yeah,
not having any of that, inside that camp. Yeah, that's a nice placement of a sentry from Roger there on the outpost. So the enemy can't really find it either if they put the sentry on the low ground. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one before. Very nice.
And very interesting how they're actually playing this trial lane. First, they get the Devour on the range creep. CM just shoves the lane in. They pull the second wave in front of their tower. And now they got a really good placement of the wave. And the Doom just gonna wrap around, maybe see if he can find some other creeps that he can devour instead of having nothing. There's a Purge creep available here, Mana Burn too.
And this is also going to make sure that both the CM and the Abaddon get level 2 whilst he's away, right?
Yeah. Oh, he sees the Alpha Wolf creep on the ward, so he TPs for that onto the mid lane. That's a big creep. Big juicy. Also wants to stack it. That efficiency. Well.
Love it. Mwah. Chef's kiss.
If he ain't efficient on this patch, then you ain't playing it right, apparently.
That's true. That's very true. How's the mid lane going? Currently, Iceberg sitting on 12 and 2 compared to the DK's 8 and 2. Sumail playing on this Dragon Knight hero. Not exactly the high octane stuff we're used to seeing from Sumail so far. In this stack, he has seemed to be in the more space creating role, and letting Ramsey's kind of shine as that true position 1. But that's kind of down to the patch as well and how it seems to be played.
Yep, not something that Sumail has done in the past, but definitely has grown into that role now. His Invoker last game was well played. Early Solar Crest, Alacrity.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Just got to make sure that
he did what the
Ramsey's
team
having the
needed.
best game possible. Exactly right. So, and finally we have, of course, bottom lane where Ramsey's going to be playing on the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet going for, looks like a Midas rush so far with the Glove of Haste straight off the bat, along as the with the Blightstone. Playing into General on the Slardar. Does General ever close the gap on this Nature's Prophet, or is this going to be a pretty safe lane for the Prophet?
I think it's pretty good for the Prophet until there's a rotation, maybe from the Lina or the Storm Spirit down to the bottom lane. You can see right now Slardar has run out of regen, had to bring out more. And Rams is just gonna get stronger and stronger in this lane.
Yeah.
He is keeping up in last hits though for now.
He is, yeah. So far, so good. Yeah, pretty quiet laning phase we're used to seeing. So as we look into coming towards its mid game, you know, Abaddon is this hero we haven't really seen so much of recently. What are the main reasons that 404 decided to go for it this game?
I think it has to do with the slaughter, just to be able to have that shield to remove the corrosive haze and pretty much make them useless. Also the stuns, you know, Orchid, whatever, all these items, you can just instantly dispel it, and then you can just continue on with your siege. With the heroes that Era already had, Dragon Knight, Nature's Prophet, very good at pushing towers down. So I got that sustain and the dispel, and it's just going to be very valuable this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, because this is a hero which we barely get to see, as mentioned before. And in the games where we do see him, it's either extremely high impact or doesn't really get much done. So, judging by no one's last performance, I am expecting big things from this Abaddon. Zayat has a double
look at
damage.
Zayat.
No.
Oh my god, that slap! 216? Jeez.
Get away from the doom.
Yeah, get away. DD, pack leader Zora. My goodness, that's a lot of damage. And they're just going to chill up here. Like, it's a very good idea to actually
Ramses. Oh no, he gets the trees onto himself, locking him in with General, and General has the bash to finish the job. Solo will be able to get the return kill, but still, first blood for General. He is going to be a happy little fishy.
Oh, Ramses realizing he has made a misstep, calling for the backup right away, but Solo was not able to get there on time to be able to turn that play around. Very well played from General. I mean, this man has been playing offlane for so long. He knows all the 1v1 matchups as well, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Finding his way to a solo kill on Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and Slardar has been a staple of his for many, many years, or at least in the days when it was popular. He does tend to enjoy his hero quite a lot.
Yeah, and he wasn't even level 6 yet, too.
No, just ran him down. It's just the physical damage of this Slardar. It's insane. With the 3 points of Bash of the Deep, you really got to respect it.
Dragon Knight middle, bullying the Storm a little bit now.
Oh my goodness, Solo just gets smashed by the Slardar. He's not getting out of this one, I don't think. The right click's coming through, and that is a level 6 Slardar, just eating the CM for lunch. My word. Anyway, back to what you were saying, sir.
Yeah, I was saying that Dragon Knight has pretty much pushed the Storm out of the lane. Chen has made his way towards mid. He's going to TP him back as soon as he's finished healing. But this tower is actually taking quite a beating at the moment. And General, like, just making that solo kill play has made his lane bleed into the top lane too.
Oh, an action mid, so it's maybe in some trouble here, though. Iceberg gets a little bit spooked as he goes across for the paste room, but no one's actually the one who's able to pick it up. Iceberg just sitting in the trees up on that cliff as the stun comes out onto the Lina instead. She's now surrounded by the treants, and she is going to get killed off. And this is probably a 2-1 tower going the way of 404 as well. Really nice early rotation, utilizing the pressure that DK is putting on to get themselves that early tier 1. I like this with the catapult wave as well a lot. And they've actually seen Iceberg. Uh-oh, he thought he was safe farming in this little tiny area. That's waiting for him to come down, saying, hello, I've got this lovely big sword. Would you like to see it? And Iceberg did not want to see it.
And
now he is dead. Oh no. Finally, the invade. It finally happens. No one, Solo, Ramses, they're going to go and take these stacks at the 6 minutes and 58-minute mark.
Yeah, who cares about making your own stack if your game plan is to just go in and take your opponents?
Hell yeah. And they're doing it. Oh, they managed to get the last couple of creeps just after the 7-minute mark, so they get a couple of neutral items whilst they're at it as well. Oh my goodness, they are sailing the seas of efficiency.
Yeah, I was going to say that General making that play bottom, making the CM go down there to Slark is going to start free farming, but this big play from Air taking the mid tower, that's going to really hurt Navi a lot now. Oh my goodness, they're running at a level 5 Slark. That's just a level 5 Slark.
Solo, oh, saved by no one. Yeah, they're going to be able to keep him alive, though, coming across with the shield, and will do exactly that. Now turn their attention towards Iceberg, but meanwhile, Always Want to Fly has been picked off, and they're looking towards Iceberg as well. He is out of mana and out of health as well. He also drops. What is this pressure coming out from 404? They're playing like madmen. I
love this. I love this. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever watched, but NAVI before TI1, when they were playing Dota 1, this is very similar to how they played. They would run around like as 5 heroes as early as 4 or 5 minutes into the game and just take all your towers. So it was absolutely insane, a beauty to watch, and that's what I feel like I'm seeing right now.
Crazy stuff coming out from 404. I mean, it's funny as well because when we came into this game, you said exactly 404. They have a very scary 5-man, and once they start roaming around as 5, there's not much Navi could do. I imagine at that point you didn't expect they'd be doing that from like 6 minutes onwards, but still,
No,
I mean, it's still putting method to the madness we're seeing here. As V-Tune's seen in the trees, he should be able to get the pounce away to the side and get himself under that tier 2, but yeah. The one person who's not getting pressured is definitely General, though, as he's just kind of, you know, he's got his AirPods in the bottom lane, just kind of jamming out some hip-hop tunes and kind of ignoring the game around him, the screams of his allies crying for his help, and he's like, don't worry, guys, it's all good, I'm well on my way to Blink Dagger. You guys just have fun in the other lanes, and I'll farm.
I think it's more like I can't do shit there if I TP up, so I'm just gonna stay down here, guys. I don't know about you all. Meanwhile, V-Tune has like 5 heroes in his lane when he's just level 5. He can't even stand his ground and bait out something, shadow dance out. Oh, and he also went for the Ring of Taras, so his item progression is gonna be quite slow, I want to say.
What do you think about General going for the Blink? Do you feel like drums could be a better option this game when you kind of you might be needing to fight as a team really early on?
To be fair, I have no idea what item he could get to break into the Ball of Error. What he needs to be is like this super big menace on the map that like the enemy can't deal with in a 1v1 situation. So Blink, I'm not sure if that will accomplish it. Maybe he needs like a Mask of Madness or something. So every time the Nature's Prophet sees a Slaughter, he can't actually go into that lane because he can actually pretty much beat up anyone with that build.
General going for the bounty rune might be the death of him though, as heroes starts to surround him and TP in from Ramses as well, just making sure he's got that high ground area covered. But General in the river, he's a very quick fish, as they do tend to be when they enter the water, and he's actually going to be able to get himself out quite easily. Meanwhile, Iceberg with the invis, just scouting it out, seeing if there's an opportunity, but nothing is really presenting itself yet.
Iceberg. He would like a solo kill on a solo, maybe, but it's not really that easy to do. Oh, wait. Did they see him? There's a Doom available. Yes. Okay. Iceberg's like, nope.
Away.
Nope.
Nothing to do with that. V-Tune is getting a bit of space up top, though, being allowed to recover somewhat. So this 5-man of 404 is kind of dissipating now.
They do have the map control, so at any point they can just smoke up, go into the enemy jungle. They were waiting for this Sumail Blink Dagger to have that initiation.
Completely unpredicted by anyone. 404 is smoking up and going into the enemy jungle. Although this actually looks like they're heading towards bottom for General again. They realize this strong hero is probably getting a lot of money. He's probably pretty close to his blink, and they want to see if they can make sure this
General knows.
Get in. Yeah, he's not
like,
moving away just yet, though.
Where did the sentry come from? Just when you place the sentry from your smoke on a ward sentry, the enemy can see, and they're like, oh hey, there's heroes here.
A magical war just appeared. But that at least lets Iceberg and V-Tune know that they're perfectly safe farming up on the top side of the map. And this really isn't very impactful from 404. Taking this bottom tower, of course, is nice. It's not much more than nice, but still it's going to be more pressure. Maybe it'll allow them to invade the triangle and put some pressure there, but no kill for them. Definitely going to be a little bit disappointed they didn't find anything with that smoke.
It'll make it a lot harder for Navi to take this bottom tower back, at least. So I think Navi at this point are kind of pressed into this area of the map, and Error is going to have an easier time with their follow-up smokes to be able to hit on the opponents. And this is not like super inefficient either from Error, because they do have the Nature's Prophet who can just farm away from the team and just join in whenever there is an engagement.
True enough, yeah. They've always got that global presence from the Nature's Prophet. Then again, Navi also have the Chen as well, but it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
So 12 minutes into this game, we are 5 versus 2 on the scoreline with a very slight gold advantage for 404. But it's exactly that, very small, and they have slowed down the pace of this game quite a lot since that really early aggression we were seeing from them before. Are you okay with that?
Small? It's okay. It's just like an investment, right? Now you're just waiting for that investment to pay off. And this is where like they're gonna farm up a bit more. The Navi and Navi don't have so much room, but that's where Navi is like, okay, let's try to smoke and make a play before the enemy groups up once again.
Jen gets caught out in the backlines. Right click's coming through with the Orchid from Ramses revealed as well. They'll be able to bring him down without having to worry about the God's Hand of God either.
Yeah, you're seeing these lines being drawn by no one here. It's like, don't let them farm, take over these two jungle areas.
This is our map now. Movement down to bottom. Looking for Ramses in the trees, but Ramses not going to be an easy target whatsoever, especially with a TP in from Sumail as well, backing him up. They know exactly what's going on here with its observer on the other side of the trees, actually. Yeah, it's pretty sick. And yeah, the sentry just doesn't quite find it.
Yeah. That's going to be a little bit annoying for VTune here. You really want to just get that D ward and farm in this area, but knowing that there's still a ward there, is going to have to be much more cautious. Sumail, next item, going for a BKB. A little bit under level though at the moment. Only level 9, 14 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not particularly impressive from Sumail. I guess that's kind of the flip side of running around with a big group of heroes, is that you obviously split up that XP quite a lot.
I like in these situations where your core helps you take a lot of towers and sacrifices levels, where you just give him the tome at 10 minutes, but they do have a Doom on the side of Error, so he's going to need a lot of levels too. He's going for a Blink Dagger as well.
Roshan.
It would be a very nice pickup.
404 into the pit. They're looking to take down Roshan, and nice early timing here, and they have the heroes to do it. They have the Nature's Prophet for the damage, and the Treants to tank it, and then of course this Abaddon with the Curse of Avernus going to help out a lot as well.
Smoke.
Will they be able to bring it
Navi.
down? Well, maybe not in time. General's moving on over. Smoke gets popped. Has he figured it out yet? He's noticing it. He jumps into the pit, but immediately gets stunned. Instant from Sumail. They'll take him down immediately. The Aegis now just sitting on the floor. Who can take it? VTune's right next to it. Will he be able to pick it up? No, Ramses is the one who grabs it, and now can turn around, just slap VTune into the grave with that stance. He does get taken down. In comes Iceberg though, in from the side, trying to take down the Doom. Can they bring down the time? No, they actually lose Iceberg for it, and always want to fly inside those trees. Will most certainly lose his life as well. 4 dead on the side of Navi. No Aegis either. My goodness, what an absolute disaster of a team fight.
That was insane. I think Navi were actually smoking up to try and get a fight on the top bounty rune, and then they realized, hey, wait a minute, there's a Roshan attempt happening here. Saw our blinking in, perfect stun from Sumail there.
Precasted
And the fight just blows up. Yeah.
Kind of a however, Ramses is going to give away his Aegis immediately due to General's TPN. Maybe
it was pretty
get a little bit lackadaisical there.
He's pretty dead here.
Yeah, a little bit dead. A little tiny bit.
I think they were trying to get a little bit too much from the map. Sumail went middle, Ramses went top, farming in front of the tier 2 tower, and as soon as General was alive, he's like, hold on, something doesn't add up right here.
General shooting off down the river. He doesn't have to fear anything when he's in that river.
It really doesn't. It's like the most annoying thing about Slaughter, where he's just running up and down the river, and he can't do anything to stop him.
He's a bit too quick. Navi, they've got to stop and kind of lick their wounds a bit here. VTune, this hero which is meant to be ahead, he gets that Diffusal Blade, jumps into the pit, and unfortunately gets silenced before he gets up the Dark Pact, and then he's just kind of left for dead. Nothing he can do but sit in the pit and die in that last engagement, which was really sad. He would have really liked to have a proper team fight there, but just gets caught out at the wrong moment with the Orchid from Ramses.
Probably feels like they could have just gave that Rosh away and just farmed, right? It would have been a better result. But, you know, Navi really wanted to take the chances in the pit. Fought into the Doom. The Apothic Shield, so strong at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it really is. The idea wasn't really to interrupt the Roche, though. They just noticed they had an opportunity as they jump forward onto Lina. Lina's getting taken apart pretty damn quickly there. Will they be able to finish the job, though? No, they won't. The Lina will survive with that wand. The old VTune still in the trees, but not really wanting to engage onto these guys just yet. Would love to poke, but it's just so dangerous with all the damage, with all the instant lockdown available on the side of 404. Seems kind of challenging to actually find an engagement here as this bottom tier 2 tower will almost certainly fall. Ramses gets the tower, and another chip falls into the hands of 404.
Yeah, they really want to take this outpost top now with that tier 2 tower taking bottom. Play for the bounties, the map control once again. Got to reap your rewards after these towers you've taken. Get more XP. Iceberg right now with this Orchid
General.
ain't feeling too strong.
General's hunting. He's got himself an Invis rune along with the... Oh, they see him there. They pop down the sentry. Stun comes out. Abaddon, they really don't want to go on this guy. He is just too tanky to kill off twice.
They're just buying time. They know if the Slaughter is chasing Abaddon or someone next to him, then everyone else on the map is just pretty much free farming.
Very true.
Halberd, next item for the Dragon Knight. Gonna make himself even tankier. Gonna be very hard for Slark to be able to right-click people with his Diffusal Blade if he gets halberded.
Yeah, or even the Slardar as well. It's a great item to counter him if he's trying to go in with the Blink, Slithering Crush into Bash.
Zayak.
Doesn't quite happen. Oh, Beachun actually has to pop the ultimate very early game. He could be dangerous. Let's see where the follow-up is. The Silence comes out, but actually gets immediately purged off at just the wrong moment there. Silence doesn't have the mana for Doom anymore, though, so they're missing that major ability. And now they can jump on top of Ramsey's, finish the job. So now tries to jump in and get the kill onto Slark, but Hand of God's going to heal him up. Meanwhile, the backline's a kill off Zayat. Beachun trying to run away to the side, and he is successful in doing so, but they're trying to keep the tree inside him to stop him from healing up. So what he can do is run away. Meanwhile, Samel, he is going to pop that ultimate at last and try and look towards Alina, but Solo's been killed off as well. 404 running out of heroes right now. No one is sitting behind Samel, ready to give him that shield whenever he needs it, but no, he gets orchided up by the Storm to make sure he can't offer that save, and now Samel will die cold and alone as Navi get themselves a huge fight. Absolutely massive.
That was huge. They got so much gold from that engagement too. So that fight started with the Doom blinking in onto the Slark, but the quick fingers from B-Tune popping that Shadow Dance and then burning off the mana of the Doom. He tried to use Stick and Doom the Slark, and I think he was like baiting his team. He's like, guys, I'm gonna Doom the Slark as soon as he comes up, but his mana kept on getting burned out and he couldn't cast it in the end.
Really well played from V-Tune. I mean, there could have been a possibility to turn around him and had that Orchid landed, but unfortunately Ramsey's casted the Orchid on the Slark just in the last few seconds off his Dark Pact, or milliseconds it probably was. And that ended up being a huge problem for them as well.
Yeah, that was insane. This is going to give such a boost for Navi, and they're going to be able to hit their next item timings much quicker than they expected. Slark has 3,000 gold. He is looking for a Scotty.
Ah, yes, Scotty. We've been seeing a lot of those recently. Very, very strong item when you're playing against heals. That's exactly. Oh dear, he's getting absolutely crushed. And now they look over towards Ramses as well. Ramses, what is he doing, sweetheart? He's going to lose his life as well. That is going to be 2 clean kills. And Solo taking a page out of Always Want to Fly's book with the instant buyback. Tap out in the mid.
And there's a
look at this Navi though. They're
Madness
interested.
Too.
They're grouping up. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. 30 seconds on NP. That's this is a 4 versus 5 fight. And there's an Arcane Rune still on the Storm Spirit too.
Oh no, they're getting cut off. 404, great crush in onto 2 heroes. Solo gonna try and drop the ultimate down straight away. It's getting off quite a long one, but it's not gonna make any difference. It's not doing nearly enough damage to stop them. They have already ripped through 2, and now they're looking to get hero number 3 as Abaddon cut down by the side of Navi. There is nothing to be done here for 404 as they lose 3 heroes. And I mean, I'm not too sure what the play was there. Trying to move so aggressively into the enemy side of the map when you're missing your Nature's Prophet. I mean, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, me neither. And I think Rams is making one too many mistakes in this game. He just can't afford to die. He's still the carry. And he's also gone for a Solar Crest. Like, this build is to boost up pretty much a Dragon Knight or try to get some extra damage on your enemy, I guess, if you use it offensively. Not too sure if this is the best item choice from Ramses either.
Strange, especially as the Abaddon was going for one as well. He already had the medallion, but ended up having to change his mind and go for the Lotus.
Yeah.
Definitely a bit
you really
of
don't want to be
within the team.
Exactly. You really don't want to be messing up your item builds when you're playing a lineup like this, where you're oriented on like just grouping up as 5, balling up, and having a little bit of everything in your lineup. So this Slaughter now has a Mask of Madness. This Nature's Prophet just can't show up anymore on the side lanes when the Slaughter is missing. Every time General blinks onto Ramses, he will die.
Yeah, for sure. General is an absolute monster. I haven't seen this Mask of Madness thing on a Slardar before though, but it does make sense. Have you?
Yeah, it's quite a common build now in the high Immortal brackets. A lot of games Slaughters just snowball and they don't want to buy like items that don't let them continue to scale or be able to man-fight people. So this Mask of Mana just allows you to do that. You get your bashes off so quickly.
Moving up here. No one could be a target. Probably not the best target they're looking for, but they'll start softly poking him when really looking for a juicier fish to show itself. And they'll look over towards the sideline. Solo's going to be a nice easy kill for them, and they'll be able to bring him down instantly. Meanwhile, V-Tune still playing on the front lines. Doom comes down. They manage to catch out the Slug. He needs to get himself back. Meanwhile, Samael comes on forwards. Laguna Blade comes out. Ramsey just TPs into their faces. He's going to get melted instantly. That is not the play. And Slug, despite being doomed up, just turns around and starts to fight up into Zayas. Zayas in some trouble here as the doomed Slug takes him down, moves across, kills Samael. Now onto No One as well. No One is a man versus a world, and then is not a fight he can win. 5 dead once again on 404. Na'Vi are not dropping a beat this game.
Oh, no. No, Matt, I hate to say this, but when you're playing a lineup like Errors, you cannot afford to lose this many team fights one after the other.
No, you cannot. We shouldn't have doubted the panel, Dubin. You know, we went out on a limb, we said, no, Na'Vi ain't got this. But, you know, they were right.
I think Error just making too many errors.
Indeed,
in this
I can
game.
feel that smugness from here. But yeah, I mean, it really was a great start. I kind of was surprised at how well 404 started it, and then kind of, I don't know what happened. There was a bit of disjointing, a bit of breakdown in the communication amongst the team, and then all of a sudden, we're at this stage where there's 7k gold up on Na'Vi, and this Slark is just completely snowballing at this point. I think Solo not even being able to have a fight in the past 2 fights, he's been the first pick off, just jump in the back, killing him instantly. That not having this Crystal Maiden in the fights is kind of painful for them.
Indeed it is. I'm not sure how they're gonna manage to mount a comeback here, because that was a fight where they got the Doom onto the Slark, but Ramses just made such an aggressive teleport and just pretty much died before he can even get a single right click off, I believe. So
yeah, kinda. Uh-oh, General's hunting for him. Ramses could be in some trouble here. Jump in from General straight away. Corrosive Ace comes out. Mask of Madness. Poor old Ramses just getting destroyed. Oh, dearie me. This is not his hero, or at least it's not his game for this hero, that's for sure.
this is definitely the General show, man. He's been the man of the hour. This guy is just freaking destroying it.
He is scrambling some eggs. And talking about getting your eggs scrambled, Solo is going to be someone's delicious breakfast. Well, 25 minutes in, it's a 10k gold advantage now up for Na'Vi. Iceberg has had just all the space after a slightly scary early game, just kind of catapulting back into this one. The Slark's now finished off a Scatty, and it's 2.3k gold into a Basher as well, which is maybe the whole damn thing.
No one's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? How do you play offlane from this position, guys? We got a Vlad's Medallion trying to work his way into a Lotus Orb. I think he's been at these items for about 10 minutes now or something. Crazy.
Certainly feels that way. It doesn't feel like no one's been able to lead his team anymore because this damage is too much. They can just ignore him as well. I mean, that's always the problem with Abaddon as a hero. You're free to ignore him. Yeah, his shields and heals are annoying. That's about it. Meanwhile, Roshan.
Gotta get the Roche. The Slark was already unkillable as long as he was next to the Chen. Now even more so.
Nah, Storm takes the Aegis, but I mean, this guy is just gonna go absolutely nuts now. Iceberg with an Aegis is not something anybody wants to play against. This guy's just so obnoxious in your face. Will go for any kill he sees. If you're in his vision, he will jump you.
Aegis Storm, Slark Cheese. Things are very rough.
Popping the borrowed time to purge off the Diffusal Blade from V-Tune. Was the decision here, and that's not going to help him out much. BKB pop from General just make sure they can get this kill. No one's going to go down. They'll turn immediately onto the Doom as well. Laguna Blade's going to finish him off, and that is 2 quick kills for Na'Vi under the tier 3s, no less. This is getting disrespectful at this point. Na'Vi, you're on a roll. That said, though, Ramsey's doing a bit of split pushing, being a very naughty boy. Oh dear. Storm, though, TPing in. Samel's going to need to help him, I feel. Turner's out. In comes some mail, stunning up the Storm. I mean, they might need to turn this one around, but unfortunately, General comes in. Here's the Mask of Madness. Fish just coming through and smacking down Ramses. Eats through the tree, gets that kill. Turn to some mail as well. Some mail, there's more heroes coming in as well as V-Tune comes in to join the party. And unfortunately, Samael is not invited as he gets killed off once more. And another couple of kills for Na'Vi. This pace is just too much for 404 to handle right now.
GG. That's it.
That's it. Wow. Okay. All right. I was ready to cast some more. You know, I was down. I was up for some high ground defense, but no. 404 won. They realized this game is just a little bit too far out of hand. I imagine Ramsey would probably say something along the lines of, I don't want to play a stupid hero anymore. It sucks. They didn't really know what they were doing in that game 404, I feel like, and it kind of just collapsed on them. I mean, there was a point where it was looking great. There was a point where it was looking fantastic, but unfortunately, didn't end up that way, and Just Error end up taking the loss, and Na'Vi are the victors in this game 3 and in this series as a whole. A fantastic series all around, but Na'Vi really laying the smackdown this final game and just reminding us why they are the top team in CIS right now, Theban.
Yeah, that was so good from Navi, especially General. Like, he really kept his team in the game, found the right angles to get the good catches. And outside of Error, the moment that Ramses lost his Aegis, as soon as he got it on the tier 2 tower top and then died again, this game just went completely downhill. It felt like he kind of tilted or something. Not really sure what was up with that, but he just stopped playing with the team's plan anymore. And then everything just unraveled from there.
It really, really did. It really, really did. Unraveled and became disheveled and became a hot mess, really, in the end there, as we end up losing the Na'Vi, the series for Just Error. But what did you think about the standout performances on the side of Na'Vi in that final game?
General, I mean, just the fact they got a solo kill and got the perfect item build with the Blink and the Mask of Madness, pressure around the map. Roger, I think throughout this whole series, he's played 3 games of Chen, and he had the mental fortitude to be able to do that and not die, actually, in almost all these games. Played perfectly. I think they're just a much more well-put team at the moment. Just give Error some time. I think they will make it there, too.
Yeah, I think so. If they do want to keep on playing as 5 and go into a proper team mode, then I'm sure we will see some magical things. Because, I mean, these guys, they have the talent. That is for sure. No one can doubt that. And they showed that in game number 2. They can play as a team as well when given the opportunity. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more from them. We'll continue to see them progress through this tournament. But, cowboys and cowgirls, it's time to hand you back to our panel. And we'll see you tomorrow for more Dota.
Now I did it. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Nomad. Wow. Exciting stuff for Na'Vi. A quick ender as well. I thought that game might go on a little bit longer, but I guess 404 not messing around, huh, gents?
Not messing around in the GG.
Yeah, you need to call the game. You know, there's nothing you're going to learn. There's really like 0 chance you're going to win it because Na'Vi is playing as a team, like their movement around the map. And, you know, I'm a guy that tends to tilt from time to time, and I can also smell when someone tilts. You know, I have this sixth sense about it. And the man, that Ramsey's dying top lane with the Aegis with no team around him, then dying again. It was tough, but I think the moment when this game turned around was when Doom got his blinked onto Slark, but the quick reaction from V-Tune turned things around where he gets the ulti off on Slark and then they proceed to just completely wipe them.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting game too because they were taking